Good morning. It is Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn Clark. He's Griffin Bass. I'm running behind. It's what it is. It's not new. I mean, such is life. Hey, on Saturday, the Baltimore County Police Department is hosting a community hiring event from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Maryland State Fairgrounds Exhibition Hall. Men and women that successfully complete their cadet program can earn a $10,000 bonus. The cadet starting salary is $32,611. This is also a toy and food drive for Baltimore County's needy families, so please bring an unwrapped toy and non-perishable food item. Whew. There's a lot, this is a community event. Yes, this is obviously an opportunity for you to consider your future within the police department. But it's so much more than that. It is a great opportunity for you to also help out within the community. And on top of the event on Saturday, they're also collecting toys and non-perishable food items all throughout the county right now. The Wilkins Precinct in Catonsville, the Woodlawn Precinct, the Franklin Precinct, the Pikesville Precinct, the Towson Precinct, even over at Glory Days Grill here in Towson. So encourage you to stop by any of those locations with your non-perishable food items, with your unwrapped toys. Try to help out the Baltimore County Police Department as they take care of those who need it in this community this holiday season. We're all trying to do that. All right. Very good. Very, very good. All right. Now, a couple of things. One. We got Drew Forrester is going to join us a little bit later on in the program. Also today, Walt Williams is going to check in a few minutes. We'll talk about last night's Maryland game. And there might be a special guest stopping by the studio at some point as well. We will. I don't want to say anything. We'll find out. Nothing overwhelming. Just a friend of ours might be stopping by the studio at some point this morning as well. We will see. I am not going to. Two things. The first being, everybody got really, I don't know why it was, that something that Rita said on the show yesterday really seemed to register, and everybody kind of went crazy with it. It's interesting because it feels like within this fan base, there are a lot of people who think that the organization has failed. And that's insane. The lengths that we're going to pretend like the Ravens aren't 8-4. Overwhelming. The lengths that we go to pretend or to try to figure out a way to fit our own narratives. Overwhelming. Whatever your narrative is. If your narrative is about John Harbaugh, if it's about Lamar Jackson, if it's about, you will go out of your way. The Ravens are 8-4. The Ravens have not in any way failed. Not remotely. There's not an argument for that. The point that I made in my column on Monday is very clear. If they don't figure out a way to get this thing going as a run offense again, they're going to have to meet a natural conclusion for Greg Roman. Obviously, a lot of people had their heads turned yesterday when Willie Taggart was in for a visit with the Ravens, which is very strange. I think a lot of people were like, well, this is what they're preparing for who their offensive coordinator is going to be if Greg Roman's going to leave. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It's very weird. So they're going to meet some sort of conclusion with Greg Roman. Either he's going to take the Stanford job, or if they don't get the run game going, they're not going to have a choice. As I said a million times, y'all can be mad about other things related to what the Ravens do, but the bottom line is Greg Roman is here to run the football. And if they go through the rest of this season and they can't run the football, then you can't have him. Y'all wanted to fire him when the Ravens were wildly successful just because it didn't look the way you wanted it to look. I don't care about that. The measurement for Greg Roman is, are you running the ball? Because Greg Roman is here to run the ball. Period. So if this continues, then it's going to meet its conclusion. It might meet its conclusion even if they start running the ball better, because Greg Roman still might go to Stanford. Meeting its conclusion allows you an opportunity to reconsider all aspects of your philosophy. My point about what the Ravens are doing isn't that they failed. Again, that's nonsense. They haven't won a Super Bowl, or they've only won, whatever it is that you want to say, as if these things are givens, again, fits your own narrative. In reality, while it is disappointing that good Ravens teams didn't have more playoff success, it's not a failure. It's not the type of thing where someone gets fired for it. But at some point, you do have to assess. And 5 years in to the idea of being a run, it gets cold in the AFC North, we've got to be best suited for January. At some point, you have to reevaluate that. Which doesn't necessarily mean that next year they need to be a team that throws the ball 100 times a game. But you do have to reevaluate it. And it led to a lot of yesterday, debate within this fan base about how hard they've tried. The Ravens have tried to get wide receivers. They've drafted. You don't get to say they drafted 2 in the first round when they got rid of 1. You don't get to say that. If a team just gets rid of a wide receiver without replacing it, that doesn't matter that they drafted that player. It's irrelevant. I mean, you can say that for a minute when they had both of those guys on the field, they had the chance to be competent. And it's unfortunate that they weren't able to keep both guys on the field together. You can say things like that, but to say the Ravens have been trying at wide receiver, that's not fair. They have not prioritized the position the way it is needed to be prioritized. One of the arguments I saw yesterday, it's not their fault that Rashad Bateman got hurt. No. By the way, people love to do this with guys get hurt and say things like that. No, it's not their fault. Rashad Bateman isn't a player. Rashad Perriman, there's a far better argument for that with. Rashad Bateman's not a player there's a great argument to say he's just a guy that constantly gets hurt. That's not fair. It's not their fault that he got hurt. But we all saw that the depth wasn't good enough. Every single one of us. There was very little that told us that Devin Duvernay was a quality NFL receiver. There was nothing that suggested that James Prochet or Tylan Wallace was a quality NFL receiver. We all knew the depth wasn't good enough. Everybody knew that. So to hide behind the idea that this is only about Rashad Bateman's injury, that's not true. It's about the value of the position. Or hiding behind but they had all these tight ends. Stop. You're doing your damnedest to try to have a different conversation. I mean, it's Elon Musk finding out that he's being investigated because he's apparently having people live at Twitter headquarters and saying, yeah, but there's other crime in San Francisco. This is what we do. We wag the dog. We want to talk about something else. There's no argument the Ravens have prioritized wide receiver the way that it's needed to be prioritized. Particularly disappointing when you had those 5 years. The point of all of this is not that it's failed, but if it doesn't lead to some sort of significant breakthrough, which doesn't feel likely at the moment, that at some point you say, okay, we gave this 5 years. 5 years. It's time for us to think about whatever might be next. It's not a condemnation of what they've done. You guys might want it to be. That's insane. You guys are nuts. They win a lot. Constantly. Enjoy being the Jaguars for a minute. Let's talk again. It's about saying at some point you have given it, you have seen it to its natural conclusion. Now what? Now how as an organization do you move forward? And there's no reason for the highly successful head coach, the highly successful owner of the team, I guess the owner's not going anywhere. There's no reason for the, fairly successful general manager of the team to think that those people can't be involved with that. They've all been in lockstep with one philosophy. It's time, if they can't make it work this year, to reconsider that philosophy. It's just not hard. Everything else is just your narrative. Everything else is just, I don't like John Harbaugh for whatever reason. I've decided that a guy that all he's ever done is win is a problem. So I've decided he's got to go. Stop. I mean, all you do is show your ass when you say these things. But again, if John Harbaugh doesn't want to be part of a philosophy change, he's got that right. If this doesn't get fixed, if this doesn't pay off, then the Ravens need to consider philosophy change. That's all. That's it. And I think Rita and I are in lockstep about that. I think Rita might even be a little bit more aggressive than I am about it. I am still willing to give it room. I think I'm less. She's almost 100% convinced that it can't be fixed. I still think that there is some world in which you get some of these players back that you could figure it all out. But you are running out of time. There's no debate about that. You are running out of time for that to be the case. And I am not very confident about the next couple of games without Lamar Jackson. It was confirmed PCL sprain, obviously. That's exactly what Dr. David Chow told us the other day. He assumed it was for Lamar Jackson. So, such is life. That's a bummer. Most people seem to think a game or two. We will see how that goes. We will find out about some of the other guys today as the Ravens will get back out on the practice field. The Odell Beckham thing is really interesting. I guess the Cowboys are still very concerned about his injury, and if they're concerned about his injury, then you would presume that everybody else should be very concerned about his injury. I was told by a source this weekend that the Ravens were not out of the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. I guess the word is that he took his visits and went back home, so I assume that means he's not visiting the Ravens. I don't know if that's because he didn't feel like he needed to. I don't know what that is. If they were not out on him, you would have thought that he probably would have made a visit here. The fact that he didn't, because the reporting this morning is that he went back to Arizona where he lives. We'll see how that plays out. But apparently some concern from the Dallas Cowboys in relation to the Odell Beckham injury. Understandable, and it's something that we've all talked about. If you're pinning your hopes on Odell Beckham, I mean, you don't even know exactly how healthy he's going to be when he gets back on the field. The word was that he had been cleared, so that's kind of an odd development there in that conversation. And then we're going to talk about Maryland basketball. And I know Walt Williams is going to join us here in just a second as Maryland goes on the road and loses at Wisconsin. Today's show brought to you by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. GinsuGrills.com is the website. Use the code TAILGATE, and you'll save $100 when you order your Ginsu Kamado Grill, the perfect ceramic tailgate or home grill for grilling, smoking, searing, baking, all kinds of food. Again, GinsuGrills.com. Use the code TAILGATE. Disappointing last night because it was a winnable game. Because if you don't start ice cold or finish ice cold, you probably win that game. That makes it disappointing because it was a winnable game for Maryland basketball. And anytime you lose a winnable game, you're going to be disappointed. Big picture, it's tough to win on the road in the Big Ten. I mean, this is going to be brutal all season long. You go play good teams. Wisconsin's a good team. I get it. They don't have a little number next to their name because it's very early in the season. Who knows who the best teams are? The difference between the 15th and the 40th best team in the country right now is minimal. Wisconsin's a good team with good wins. It nearly knocked off Kansas. Wisconsin's a good basketball team. Winning on the road in the Big Ten is difficult against just about anyone. Losing to Wisconsin isn't likely to hurt them. It's disappointing because they could have won. But it's not likely to end up being significant when you get to the end of the year if, you're looking at whether or not Maryland needs to get into the NCAA tournament or seeding or something like that. You're not likely to be penalized because you lost a road game at Wisconsin. as Patrick Stevens told us yesterday, you got this 4-game stretch: Illinois, Wisconsin, Tennessee, UCLA. You come out of that stretch 2-2 for a first-year head coach with a still pretty incomplete roster. You've done quite well for yourself. This was the only true road game of the 4. You now have an opportunity on neutral court against Tennessee, at home against UCLA, to try to pick off another good win. And if you come out of this with 2 losses, if you get through all of this with 2 losses on the season, you're doing really well, far beyond any reasonable standard that any Maryland fan could have had for Kevin Willard to start his tenure here at the University of Maryland. I think some people are allowing an 8-0 start to get you a bit carried away. And last night probably reminded you, like, hey, there are going to be road bumps in this process. Let's talk more about Maryland basketball. Joining us now, one of the great players in Maryland basketball history, of course now part of the Maryland Radio Network, and the man behind Clutch Vodka. He is our friend, the Wizard, Mr. Walt Williams, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Walt, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm all right, sir. I'm in this weird place where last night was disappointing. If they hit a couple more shots at the beginning of the game or at the end of the game, right? Like, if they don't go ice cold in either of those spots, this was very much a winnable game. But I get it. It's hard to win on the road in the Big Ten. They were gonna lose some basketball games at some point this season. I'm somewhere between the disappointment of you could have won the game versus it's just not the end of the world that you didn't win the game.
Well, hey, if you go back to before the season starts and you say, hey, we're going to be 8-1 in the first 9 games, you would definitely take that. But, the reality of it is, the human part of it is, you're watching this unfold game by game, and you're seeing us win every game. And so you think to yourself, oh, let's keep this thing rolling, because it has been a handful of teams that's been undefeated for the whole season. So you hold on to hope, just think that we can win every game. So when you lose, it does hurt. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, I mean, this team is in a good position. You beat they lost to a solid Wisconsin team, a good defensive team at home. And the Big Ten traditionally is always a tough conference. So in-conference play is going to be tough, especially on the road.
What do you make of the road Donald Carey, by the way? Well, like, why is it that dude is the guy that comes to life whenever he's playing a game on the road?
Well, I can kind of speak to that a little bit myself, man. I always felt it was always a better feeling for me to have the crowd just cheering against you and coming after you, and then you do something on the court, and then they have to shut up. That was always a greater feeling for me than doing something fantastic out there and the people cheering for me. So I think that he gets a lot of his motivation is to show that, hey, I'm coming right back at you. And you don't have that dynamic when you're at home. You have people that's really positive and cheering for you and behind you. So he just got to find his rhythm. I think that he's giving a great effort on the defensive end, and he just got to find his legs on the offensive end where he's consistent and shooting the ball from the outside. I think that on paper he's probably one of, if not the best shooter on this team. And so if he can get it going to anywhere near to what the expectation is, then, that makes this team a much more dangerous team.
He is Walt Williams. He's with us here on GCR. Walt, how do you define the impact that Kevin Willard as a coach? Like, obviously the culture stuff, whatever he's doing with the program aside, I mean, on the floor, and I bring up in the Illinois game, we saw the zone switch. We just saw some things that to take no shots whatsoever at anybody else, it felt a little bit different. How do you describe the impact that Kevin Willard, the coach, is having as Maryland has gotten off of this tremendous start?
Well, you can see that the players really are buying into it. You can see it with the effort of everybody that steps on the court. They're giving a great effort out there. And so the only way you can do that is believing in the coach and the coaching staff. So I think he has their ear. He has their confidence and their respect. And he gives it back twofold to those guys, and so he gets after it. but it's in a way that's respectful to the players, and something that they know it's coming from a good place, and he wants the best for them. And you see the players responding, and in terms of the game itself, you could see that he makes in-game adjustments. He's figuring it out if something not going well, or he can play games. You mentioned zone matchups and at moments and things like that. And so he does a great job with that. The challenge right now is for this team to just be consistent on the offensive end. You saw last night. They shot the ball well, decent from the 3-point line, but inside the 3-point line they struggled. And if that's that's a tough environment to win when you can't score inside the 3-point line at a higher rate than outside the three. So that's a tough dynamic to overcome for sure.
So let's talk about obviously this is a good basketball team, and I think we have every reason to have recalibrated expectations and say this is a team that should be competing to get into the NCAA tournament. I think the question becomes if this team can become a contender in the Big Ten, which, again, was a standard that would have been wildly unfair for us to talk about before the season began. But, they've gotten off to a good start. The one thing that still jumps out most to me, Walt, is front court depth. And when Julian Reese gets into foul trouble, and there's just not a whole lot there. How concerned are you about this team's front court depth, again, in the context of being a Big Ten title contender?
Well, certainly, we're thin in the interior. The way you have to combat that is, the game is played a little bit differently. It's played outside in nowadays, so it's not as big or glaring a hole as it would have been back in the day. But, and it's going to take Julian, and he has done this early on, doing a better job of keeping himself out of foul trouble while still being relentless, going for the boards and controlling the paint defensively, as well as scoring around the basket as well. So he has to continue to do that without getting in foul trouble. They're going to need him to play major minutes. He has done that so far. Defensively, in the front court, they have bigger guards who are physical, long. They are getting deflections, getting turnovers, and creating opportunities easier opportunities in a fast break scenario on the offensive end. So, and then getting to the free throw line. So those are the things that you have to do to combat, not having that big presence or depth in that middle. So it's something that they can overcome. Consistently, every game. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. So it depends on who they face in that particular night. But there are ways to overcome that, and the Terps have the makeup in their team to be able to overcome.
What's wild to me, is again, our expectations were so, I don't say low, but kind of mid, just because of the reality of a new coach, right? It almost feels, and while you can maybe speak to this as an athlete, it almost feels like at some point you are what your record says you are, and the confidence that comes along with winning basketball games goes as far as, even the actual talent that you put together on a floor. Do you get the sense that this is now a team that believes that they're capable of competing, to be very high, maybe contend for a Big Ten title?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone goes into this, came into this season not knowing. It was all a new situation here. The players are getting to know the coaches getting to know the players. You don't really know who's going to rise to the top and what players are going to do that. And you might have preconceived notions about what you've seen in the past, but in reality, it's about what they do when you're the coach there, and how they perform for you, and your thoughts on that. And so all of these things were being were new things, and so questions that were not answered, unanswered questions. So now when you start to play the games, you start to answer those questions, and so now and then it becomes whether or not you believe it. The answers that you're giving, and the players the confidence grows as not necessarily in winning games, but how you're playing, and I think that they are playing a very aggressive style of basketball, and not only just the wins, but the style of play that they have is having their confidence grow. And then also the belief in the coaches. When you come with a game plan, when you're consistently winning, then you have more belief in that. And the more belief you have in the game plan and those coaches, the more of an effort you give out there, the smarter you play, and all of those things. So when those things are growing, your confidence is going to grow. So as the season goes along, if this team can continue to play with this type of aggressiveness, I can't see how their confidence will waver.
I think there's no doubt about that. All right, so Walt Williams, I feel like Maryland fans, there's maybe one particular way if you're perhaps sitting at home on Sunday when the Terps playing up in New York, maybe there's a particular beverage that might go well with watching Maryland basketball?
Oh, absolutely, man. So I got my vodka brand. It's called Clutch Vodka. It's in the Mid-Atlantic region, so D.C., Maryland, and Delaware, so it's all over. And so what we have right now is a contest going on to win an autographed picture by me. My guy, Kevin Sullivan, he made this cool illustration of me, and I wanted to, give it away to the fans. So it's kind of a promotional thing that we're doing for my vodka here. And so it's the vodka, like I said, it's called Clutch Vodka. It's a smooth, clean, premium vodka. What I wanted to make sure is affordable pricing with that. It's 100% corn. It's gluten-free, no sugar, no carbs. And so, yeah, man, we're going to be featured on the show this month. So we're excited about that. So stay tuned. And how you can win the picture and how you can stay interactive with us is to, number one, follow us at Clutch Vodka on Instagram and Facebook, or at Clutch Spirits on Twitter. And then you just retweet to a friend, and then hashtag The Wizard is Clutch. And then we're going to randomly pick a winner on December 11th next week. So it's a great time.
Awesome, man. Of course, at Walt The Wizard 42 on Twitter is how you follow him. Walt Williams, always appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
All right, thanks for having me, buddy.
It's Walt Williams, one of the great players in Maryland basketball history, and, of course, now part of the Maryland Radio Network. And I'm just not getting worked up too much. Bummer. Like, it's tough because I got to remember what it was like. There were good Maryland basketball teams. You knew they were good teams. And inevitably, playing true road games, it's the nature of college basketball. This one, not a big deal. Now, if it goes from here, if they go get their butt kicked by Tennessee and then turn around and get spanked by UCLA, then, we have a different conversation at that point. But this one alone, bummer because it was a winnable game. The reality of college basketball, it's hard to win on the road against good teams. Really hard to win true road games against good teams. If you want to separate yourself going into the NCAA tournament, you pick off one or two as the season goes on. Goes a long way. Again, it's hard to know what we're judging the expectations by. The reasonable expectation was trying to somehow get into the NCAA tournament. And right now, you feel really good about where this team is by that measure. The new measure became when they won a few games. Now we started to think, could they be a Big Ten title contender? Which is insane. It really is unreasonable. But that's what happens when you win games and when you beat some good teams, is you start kind of thinking crazy. So either maybe we need to ease up on that, or they're going to have to show us something else in order for us to continue to believe that. But by any reasonable measure, not the end of the world. They lost a basketball game last night at Wisconsin. All right, a lot of news in the baseball world, obviously, including Aaron Judge and the Cubs making some moves that I think a lot of Orioles fans would have liked to have seen here. We're going to talk about those things. Drew Forrester is scheduled to stop by the studio. For better or for worse, we'll chat with him. Don't forget, the best offers for sports betting and deciding who it is that you want to bet with are available right now through PressBox. including $200 in free bets from DraftKings after placing your first $5 bet or $1,000 in risk-free bets from BetMGM. Time's limited. To get all the best offers from all of the sports books, PressBoxOnline.com/offers in order to sign up today. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Looking for a simple holiday meal? Try Chick-fil-A Catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese, enjoy a variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details.
UMBC basketball is back at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena, and tickets are available now at UMBCretrievers.com. Don't miss any of the great early season matchups as the men take on local rivals Morgan State on December 10th, and the women square off with American on December 18th. And on New Year's Day, a rematch of last year's America East Championship game when the men welcome Vermont to the Peak. Experience the excitement of game day by getting your tickets right now to come see the Retrievers at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena. Lock yours in at UMBCretrievers.com.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, New Maryland basketball coach Kevin Willard sits down with Stan Charles and Glenn Clark to discuss the situation he inherited in College Park and how he plans to get the program turned around. Also, inside, we introduce you to men's and women's college basketball players from all of the teams in the area. And Bo Smoka profiles Ravens receiver Devin Duvernay. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
Join Glenn at halftime of every Ravens game for the Project Game Day halftime show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports. We apologize in advance. There's not much we can do about his face.
All right, back in here on GCR. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program brought to you by Glory Days Grill. The scenarios are up on Twitter at Glenn Clark Radio, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Get your responses in. And the Tyus Bowser Show returns next Tuesday, December 13th. We will see you at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Tyus and a special guest, myself and Rita, we will all be there. Come join us next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill. It's all brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. You can find out more, PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. The Tyus Bowser Show is a partnership of PressBox and Grade 8's memorabilia. All right. It's not interesting. They bring back the winter meetings, and this is the first time in, like, forever that the action all happens at the winter meetings. The baseball offseason, normally in, like, the last, I want to say, 6 to 7 years, has really kind of dragged into January, February, sometimes March. But this year, overwhelmingly, it's all happening at the winter meetings. The biggest domino, of course, fell this morning after all of the insanity yesterday involving Aaron Judge. Not a great look for John Heyman. Really bad look for John Heyman. I mean, like a really bad look for John. I'm not here to jump on anybody. Mistakes happen, all that, but that is rough. That is rough. Aaron Judge, not a San Francisco Giant. He is going back to New York. $360 million to stick around with the New York Yankees. So there's that. I never actually thought he was leaving New York. I never bought into the Giants stuff. So, outside of the moment with John Heyman yesterday, I was always convinced that he was going to end up staying in New York. Like, he's meant for that. All due respect.
That was going to be a Tampa Bay Ray after seeing him talk with Tom Brady.
Wearing his Buccaneers. He was wearing a Mike Evans jersey the other night. I think he kind of needs to be in New York. Like, I think, not to say that, I don't want to take anything. I don't want to say that, this is the thing. It's not as if Aaron Judge wouldn't be a power hitter, a prodigious power hitter, in any ballpark. But he wouldn't be the same in just any ballpark. So I kind of think he needed to stay in New York. The Orioles are never going to be on Aaron Judge, so it's only relevant the fact that, it might have been nice to not have to face Aaron Judge any longer. So for a moment there, when we thought he was going to be a San Francisco Giant, there was this sort of pleasant thought like, all right.
Kind of root for this guy.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not going to root for him in any way, but, like, at least you don't have to face him. Like, that makes your life a little bit easier moving forward. What is relevant for the Orioles is some of the other dominoes that are falling, and particularly in the secondary pitching market, and then the one kind of reclamation project that a lot of people were rooting for. So the Cubs land Cody Bellinger, and they end up being the team that lands Jamison Taillon. And I think a lot of Orioles fans thought that Cody Bellinger in Baltimore, we were just talking about it with Ben McDonald yesterday, right? Like, come to Baltimore, some of the pressure's a little bit off, right? Like, it might be the perfect place for you to go and sort of figure things out. Hey, worst case scenario, Cody Bellinger is performing fairly well, and the Orioles don't look like a team that's ready to make that jump next year. Maybe it could become a trade chip. I think a lot of Orioles fans were in on the idea of reclamation project Cody Bellinger. Not going to happen. He got a big one-year deal from the Cubs, so that's off the market. And as a lot of people pointed out, there really isn't a center fielder market to be had. And it makes you, again, wonder if there might not be a team that now starts exploring trade conversations when it comes to Cedric Mullins. And this is a topic that we have discussed ad nauseum. If the Orioles believe that Colton Cowser is their center fielder long term, do they consider exploring a Cedric Mullins trade if they can use it to upgrade the major league level? The problem being, it doesn't seem like the teams that would want to trade for a Cedric Mullins would be the teams that would necessarily want to give up major league talent to do it. You would think that those would be the teams that believe that they're close, that he could be one more helpful piece to get over the top, so why hurt yourself in another department in order to do it? It's a tricky kind of line. Could it be done? Maybe. But I don't know. But it is a weak center field market. There's not, I think Kevin Kiermaier is like one of the top options, and he's coming off a really rough season. I guess Nimmo's still out there. Like, there's just not a lot as far as center field is concerned. Not just Jamison Taillon, but now this morning Jose Quintana comes off the market as well. Took a 2-year deal with the New York Mets. So that secondary pitching market, that if you're not going to get Carlos Rodon, and most of us never believed that the Orioles were in on Verlander or DeGrom, but we continue to hear reports about the Orioles being connected to Carlos Rodon, which, again, sounds great. I've just never thought that the Orioles would be the team winning a bidding war for Carlos Rodon. If you're not going to get him, there was a lot of talk about, but you still need something better than Kyle Gibson. You still need one more legitimate major league starter. And the names that were being brought up were the Jamison Tyons, the Jose Quintanas of the world. Sean Manaea is still out there, at least as of the moment when I'm speaking this. I don't know if that's the case, depending on when you're listening to this, because I do know that our audience is much bigger later in the day. I don't know if you already know that Sean Manaea has gone somewhere else. So, like, that would still be a backup plan, but again, like, now you're getting to that dangerous territory where, because you're not aggressively pursuing making sure you get that player, you run the risk of even the secondary pitching market sort of bottoming out as well. And you almost start venturing into the territory of Carlos Rodon or bust. Like, if they came away with Manaea, nobody would say, everything's changed now. But at least there would be we talked about this briefly with Ben McDonald yesterday. I feel like this team, this franchise, this fan base, there needs to be something. It can't be Kyle Gibson. There has to be something that feels like an upgrade. Kyle Gibson just feels like shuffling the deck chairs, right? Like, that's what we talked about with, he's just kind of Jordan Lyles. You're just switching out Jordan Lyles for another Jordan Lyles. It needs to feel like somewhere you upgraded. You made the baseball team better with a move that you made. And to this point, obviously, that's not the case. Nomar Mazara does not count, believe it or not. Franchi Cordero does not count. Who's the other? Josh Lester. Whatever that is. No offense. Of course, Josh Lester is going to end up having a massive hit this year, and somebody's going to remind me about it. That doesn't count. Might end up being that one or more of these minor league signings proves to be something. But it doesn't solve the do you get your fan base on board part of the equation. Do you inject something into the team itself as part of the equation? Mike Elias revisited liftoff this week. It was interesting, as it was a question that I wanted to bring up with Eve Rosenbaum when we had her on last Friday, and I kind of talked about it even at the time. What does it actually mean? Is there a chance it was just a flip comment that was made, not to declare, like, the Orioles are going to be massive spenders this offseason, but more just to say, like, hey, we think we've moved in to the part of this where we believe we're contending? Of course, somebody would say, well, then why did you trade away Trey Mancini, right? Like, shouldn't you have tried to contend? This is from Andy Koska's Twitter. Andy Koska is now with the Baltimore Banner covering the Orioles. He's out at the winter meetings. Look, I rattled that word off in Texas. I feel very organically that is what I meant. And I mean that I think that this team is going to continue to get better from this point forward. We're sitting here with this young nucleus that's extremely talented, that's going to be here for a long while. We're sitting on the #1 farm system. We've got a roster and a payroll that we can custom build over the next few years, because right now, don't turn his mic on yet, because right now we don't have any long-term contracts to build around. It was not a specific proclamation for we're going to do it all at once at the 2023 winter meetings, but the next several years of baseball in Baltimore is going to be excellent. And I think that the team is going to continually improve, and we're going to build the business of Baltimore baseball back up over the next several years. We're on the upswing. That's what I mean when I say that. It's a very exciting time for us. It's been a long time coming and a lot of work getting to this point. But to be on the upward arc of where we're at, regardless of what we do or don't do this winter, I think is very encouraging for all of us in this organization and for the fans and for the players. And yes, now we bring in Drew Forrester from drewsmorningdish.com.
What a bunch of malarkey. You really believe this guy?
Well, no. What part of it is malarkey? Stop.
All of it.
Stop. Don't do the shtick. Let's have an actual conversation for a second, all right? Like, You're going to have plenty of time to do shtick this morning. I promise you. I promise you. You don't think that you don't bring in Eve 6 to have him not play Inside Out. We're going to let you do all of your shtick. I promise you.
Yeah,
all right?
Counting Crows are going to play Mrs. Jones.
Yeah, well, probably not Mrs. Jones.
Mr. Jones. Whatever.
Yeah, probably
say
not going to play Mrs.
Mr. Jones. Right.
And they're going to do it in a brooding way because he hates all of his
He's
songs.
mad. Right.
Yes, correct. Is the problem what Mike Elias said to begin with? Is the problem that he put a comment so flip out there into the ether in the aftermath of the Trey Mancini thing? Or is the problem that you simply don't believe that there is a plan to truly change the payroll in the next couple of years?
No, I think there's a plan. I guess I would just say I am not willing to believe any of it until I see them sign somebody. Like, you know this, right? I mean, I like Mike Elias. I think he's done a great job. I think the team is on the upswing. I agree with a lot of that. But until you sign someone and you give Rodon $70 million for 3 years or whatever the numbers are,
it'll have to be more than that.
But whatever it is, like whatever it is that he gets, when you sign a guy, because heretofore there's been 5 guys that have signed elsewhere that you could have had. You didn't sign any of them. Mm-hmm. You could have signed Bellinger.
Yep.
You could have signed Tyon. You could have signed.
Quintana came off the market this morning.
Oh, he did? Where'd he go? Okay.
2 years.
Okay. So, you could have signed all those people.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't.
Right. Well, they got Nomar Mazara.
But now
they got Josh Lester.
He's still. I thought he was. Wasn't he married to Mia Hamm?
Nah, Nomar Garcia-Parra. But I mean, might be able to play still. Who knows?
The same guy. We might sign him.
Yeah, it might be more helpful than.
But
Nomar
anyway,
Mazara.
I hate to, and I guess it's funny. Like, if he were sitting here, I think we probably would say that to him in a nice way. Like, Mike, when you sign someone, we'll start to believe you.
This is the difficult part I have is that the liftoff thing became.
He said that because he was under the gun because he said something dumb, right? I mean, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. He said something dumb about a team that was in the playoff race.
It was really awful what he said, and this was his way of cleaning it up.
It wasn't even that it was awful.
It was unthinkable to say that. To say that you didn't believe that the team was, I mean, like that was, it was.
I think it hurt the players' feelings. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't give a damn about you and I.
Correct.
But like, I think the players saw that.
It's unconscionable. It's unconscionable for the organization.
Right. So I think he said that liftoff thing in response to that.
Right.
And I don't think he was lying. I think in his heart he believed it. But now,
right?
Here we are.
Everything is being judged by.
When are we lifting off?
Everything the Orioles do is now being judged by this word,
right?
Liftoff. This word is defining anything you do,
or the process of getting these players. Like with each one of these that goes, now you can still trade for people, but with each one of these players that goes, and they're, I'm thinking off the top of my head, like. There hasn't been one, I guess you could say Judge maybe, but there hasn't been one guy that's signed that if the Orioles would have signed him, dismiss the money part about whether or not, I see this all the time on the internet, I wouldn't give him that kind of money if it were me, and it's not you. But there isn't one guy that has gone elsewhere that you wouldn't have said, oh, hell, I'd take that guy.
I mean, I'd have to think about that.
Well, would you take Abreu?
Yeah, I mean,
forget about the money,
sure. Right? Yeah,
I mean, would you take
course.
Abreu?
Of course
you
I
would.
have.
Would you take Bellinger?
I don't know if I would have taken Andrew Heaney, for example.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
Well, they got Andrew Heaney. His name's Kyle
correct.
Gibson.
That's a great point.
Right. No, I mean, so yeah, but so there hasn't been one player that's signed elsewhere. Even the Haniger guy, like, well, I'd take him every time he comes to Baltimore. He hit 3 home runs in the series.
Right.
So there hasn't been one guy that's been signed elsewhere that you wouldn't have said if the Orioles would have signed him. Oh, that's a reasonable signing, right? They've let, and I'm making the number up because I don't know. They've let 8 guys go to other teams, and they haven't signed them.
Again, maybe it's unfair to say they've let 8 guys go.
Okay,
8 guys have gone to
signed elsewhere.
Teams, and they
that if the Orioles would have signed Walker or DeGrom, you would be like, holy hell!
For Christ's sakes, that's a different.
But okay, but you know what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. I go a step back.
So it just goes back to when you sign somebody, we'll believe you.
The point that I made was they have to do better.
I want them to sign Michael Wacha, by the way. That's the truth. I think he would be a good signing for them.
I'd have to dive more into Michael Wacha. I'd have to spend a little bit more time with it.
You know what? They already got Michael Wacha.
Yeah, that's kind of the way that
But he's 4 years older or 3 years older.
Right.
I think Wacha's 32 and Gibson's 35.
Like, this is Gibson feels like simply
I
a
think
Jordan.
the Orioles thought they were getting Bob Gibson.
Maybe. It feels like the. What else you got? You got more Gibson shit?
No.
They should have gotten Kurt Gibson.
Gibson guitar.
This feels like a Jim Rome bit. Like,
Yeah,
this
right.
feels like by the way, Jim Rome made a career for like 15 years of that. Jim Everett, more like Chris Everett. Like, that was his career.
Dude,
and
the
that
greatest Jim Rome
that
thing
was good
ever
enough.
was when the freaking fire alarm went off.
Oh,
and he did,
yeah,
and he did the
right.
show.
Yeah, he just kept
What the fire alarm,
All
and
right.
all he talked about for 20 minutes
was the fire alarm. Yeah.
Don't know how you expect me to do. Listen to this, guys. Woo!
The man made a career doing nothing other than saying someone's name and then comparing it to someone else who had the same last name. That's what we just let that be sports radio for
Rack
a while.
'em.
And yes, and rack 'em and things like that. We allowed that to be the content, and he's
I remember,
extraordinarily wealthy
and
because of it.
you may have had way more interaction with him than I did.
I've had very little interaction with Jim.
We had him. You may have been with me. I don't even remember. We had him on with us once at the Super Bowl.
Right.
I've met a lot of. Well, I can't even believe I'm going to say this. I've met a lot of self-absorbed people in the radio
No.
in the radio business
No.
before.
No, really?
I've been
No.
around a few.
No.
And I would say he might be the all-time king.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man.
He had a guy go into the bathroom with him.
I remember you telling me that. I wasn't there for that, but I remember you telling me that. Did you
Jim,
sit on
Jim,
it?
who's the guy?
Did you sit in on it
I'm a security guy.
when we brought Francesa over the one time? Did you sit in on that?
I think so.
It was one of the funniest. I don't even remember what all we talked about. Like, honest to God, I don't remember what all we talked about. But I remember 100% as soon as he got up, I was like, my God, that's exactly what I thought Mike Francesa was going to be. It's exactly
Didn't
what
know the names of the teams that were
and
playing.
but whatever he
I tell
said,
you, I like the Patriots this week.
He was
Patriots aren't in the game.
Correct. He was convinced it was the most important thing that anyone was saying that day. Whatever his dumb opinion about sports
I just remember
was.
Rome getting up from the table, and I said, like, not sure I've ever met another human being like that before.
I'm telling you, man, there was something about it for a little while. I think the rest of us came in and understood, like, there was a time where there were so few of us that, like, we really treated these people like what they said mattered.
Vic the Brick.
Well, I mean, okay, Vic the Brick is great. Nobody's debating about Vic the Brick. But I'm saying, like, in general in sports media, we treated a handful of dudes like what they said wasn't just some dumb opinion, but, like, it
They know
mattered.
sports. They know sports.
And more than the rest of
They
us
know
do,
sports.
right? Like, that they are more educated because we didn't know at the time they were just a guy. Like, that's all they were. They were just a dude that had a microphone in front of him that had a dumb opinion.
Most of the time, they
then-
were they were handsome. They were they were good fits for
Right.
the media.
Right.
They,
Some of
but
them,
like,
yeah,
but
some
like,
of them.
I don't know that you're. Now, I would also say, I can remember walking to the radio station occasionally and hearing someone say, "Who's starting for the Orioles tonight?" Like, we'd be doing radio in Baltimore, and the person on the air wouldn't know who the starting pitcher was that night for the Orioles. Like,
Correct. Like, by the way,
who's starting the
like
night?
somebody got mad at me. I made a joke last night early in the Maryland basketball game where I was like, if I were them, I'd call the dumb
Oh,
jokes.
I saw that.
said, if I were them, I'd
call
call
the
the
ones-
play where they make more shots. They start making some of their shots.
Right.
Because remember, they started
People
the
got-
game
no, they were
completely ice.
dreadful.
They were all ice cold. They finished the game ice cold. It's the funny part is they probably should have won that game.
My
They
buddy
just don't-
Dale Williams in this morning dish had a great summer. He goes, the last play of the Maryland game summed up Donta Scott's entire night.
Yeah,
he
it
was on his
was-
back
yeah, it was
with
rough.
his
It was rough. It was
with the ball
rough.
bouncing around.
Rough night.
Like,
Tough place to win. Rough night, right? And some Maryland fans mad at me. I don't know how to say to him, like, dude, why do you,
mad at me.
right? Why do you, but it's not even about that. It's
Right.
not even about whether I'm a Maryland. It's
Right.
why do you care?
Like what I said.
Why do you
Yeah,
care?
right.
What is this world?
Right.
Where we
Where
get
Glenn
worked
Clark
up about
matters.
it's the way it works. We get mad about what
Right.
some stupid person says on Twitter. They're stupid.
Well, look, this goes back to. It's funny you bring this up.
I don't know how we got here.
No,
from the
no.
Orioles thing.
But it's funny that
we
you
will
bring
try
it
to
up
wrap that back
because
up.
look, you want to do the shoot interview, right? If you want to really do
Yeah.
sports media shoot interview,
Right.
here's and I'm not going to say I don't want to say who I engaged with, but I've recently engaged in a fairly heated personal discussion with a member of the media in town about the U.S. soccer team.
Oh.
And I said,
Oh boy.
do you want me to tell you the truth? you have no idea what you're talking about. You've never been to a practice for the U.S. national team. You have no idea why Gio Reyna didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
You've never been to a practice. You didn't go to Qatar. You have no more idea about the real functional inner workings of the U.S. men's national team than a dog.
That's fair.
And yet, you're going to pound your chest
Right.
about how god-awful the coach is. And all the coach has ever done since he got there.
All right, I need to know. You're going to write down who the person
you.
was. Yeah, I'm not going to say it on the air, but I think I know who it is. I just would like you.
You.
I think I'd like for you. Yep, that's what I thought.
You
Okay.
have.
You actually say this to this person?
Yeah, hell yeah. You
Kind of love you for that.
all this guy's done since he got there
Yeah.
is win. They won since he took over, he inherited a team that couldn't beat Trinidad.
I mean, far
And
more
by the
than-
way, I'm not
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of Greg Berhalter, but I will say this, that everything that they asked him to do, he did. The only thing he didn't do is beat the Netherlands.
Accepting the standard as being what it was.
These are the soccer players he has.
Sure,
Did you watch
sure.
the games?
Right,
He's
I
got
hear
4 good players.
Right, I hear you.
So, so this is the shoot interview. The reality is, and I'm glad you said this, like, the reality is none of us know anything because we're not there.
Correct.
Look, now, that doesn't mean that you
there
can't have...
There are times where we know some things.
No, but I'm
right?
saying as it relates to the real inner workings of the team and the real what's going on in the game
Yes.
and all of this insanity about the offensive coordinator, the reality is none of you have ever done it, and neither have you and I.
Right.
But we can't say that. You know why? Because we need them to listen. And we need them to read. And we need them to call.
Because we have to
And
pretend like what we say
Correct.
matters. Correct.
But it's...
And that's, by the way, this is why I'm here. Because I can't do it.
But this is the funniest thing that's
I
happened.
can't participate in the kayfabe.
But here's the
Like,
funniest
I can't do
thing
it.
that's happened.
Yes.
Is in the last 10 years, how many people are there that you're probably the best example of this because you're now 30 whatever 5?
Yeah, a little bit more than
What
that.
are you?
38.
38?
39. Oh, no, God, I'm 39.
Okay. You've been doing this, air quotes, effectively, I would say. Well, I shouldn't say effectively.
Right,
You've been
right.
doing
in
this.
some form or function.
You've been doing this for 15 years, 16,
longer-
17
longer
years,
than that,
right?
yeah.
Right. But since you kind of knew what you were doing, and you weren't just doing it to get girls.
Well, wait a second.
No.
I mean,
but
I don't know if that started yet.
I would say that by the time you got to Baltimore, back to Baltimore,
Uh-huh.
you were trying to do this for real. That
Okay.
you weren't just trying to get girls from,
Right, yeah,
like,
yeah,
right?
that's
You went
fair.
to Arizona because you couldn't find a girl here. You went out there, but you came back here.
It's a worse story than that.
Right. You came back here and you said, I want to be something in this business.
Sure.
And you've done it. You've
Sure.
done a great job of it.
Something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the card says to read.
Correct.
No, but so now think about this. You've done this for 15 years. You've traveled. You've been in the locker rooms. You've established relationships. You have contacts. You have sources. You have people who tell you things. You know how to play the game. You know what to say, how to interview someone, how to throw a softball when it's needed. You know all of that. Tonight, there will be 15 people in Baltimore who bought $400 of equipment who will sit in their basement with this setup right here, and they'll do 2 hours of talking about the Ravens.
Correct.
And all they are people who watch the games.
Yep. No, I don't
That's
have,
all they are.
You know, it's
right?
a funny thing. I don't get that doesn't bother
No,
me.
I'm not
Like,
saying it
it
should bother
doesn't
you.
bother
I'm
me.
saying that in 2022, that's what that's what the media
Right.
has become.
Right.
Everyone who's got $400 says,
now you can buy a blue check mark. Now you can buy.
I'm in the media.
Some sort of amount of validity.
what do you mean you're in the media? Oh, I have a
Right.
podcast.
Yeah, correct.
It's on this
Right.
and that, and you
Right,
can
right,
watch it.
right.
I remember going, and they did a great job. I remember going over there to Arnold. You went.
Yep.
To go in to do the Oriole 306 thing,
Section
whatever it was called.
336, yes.
Dude, it was like being at NBC.
100%. I mean, like Josh Roca had rigged up the greatest.
It was incredible.
God, it was way better than most radio
And by the
stations.
way, when it came to talking about the Orioles, which is different than knowing what's going on.
Right.
But when it came to talking about the Orioles, those guys knew more than me.
Right. Correct. Because they care about it.
Correct.
Like, in a way that I can't. I don't have
right.
the bandwidth.
But if you and I, 15 years ago, those people would have been laughed at.
Okay, so I don't know how we got here. I'm not really sure how we got here.
I don't either, but
give me 1 second.
But it's far more interesting than talking about Lamar and his
maybe
knee injury that isn't really a knee injury.
Right, fine. Oh, you're doing that? That's your shtick today? That's what you're doing? I know.
410-481.
Gambling can be
410-583-1057 is the number you want to call in and talk about Lamar's injury. It's not an injury. Give us a call.
Gambling can be fun, but you should set a limit and stay within it, Drew. And remember, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Let me finish an Orioles thought, and we're going to talk some Ravens. If I had said that the thing they have to do is do something that looks like an upgrade. Kyle Gibson, we know, isn't an upgrade because you're just shuffling the deck chairs. It was Jordan Lyles last year. Now it's Kyle Gibson, right? But if you do anything that appears to be an upgrade, I'm willing to give it okay. I didn't think this was the year necessarily anyway that you're going to be able to go win a World Series. I can live with it if you just go get a Sean Manaea. If you do anything at all that appears to be an upgrade of what you had, I can live with that. I can say, all right, you're showing there is a step in the process. If they don't, then we're going to have some conversations. Then the wanking motions that you were making as I was reading that statement for Mike Elias are going to end up being more relevant. But if they just do something that appears to be an upgrade on the baseball team they had the year before, I can at least say, okay, they're taking a step of some sort.
And that's why I just said Bassett. Like, I don't even – here's the funniest part. They're in a weird spot because I don't think they need a huge amount of help. They almost made the playoffs this year, and if they'd have had Rutschman and Henderson for the entire season, they'd have made it, I think. I do. I think they'd have made the playoffs. So I don't even know that they need a huge amount of help. But they can't go into everybody else is going to try to get better. Right? Mm-hmm. They can't go into the season status quo. Correct. And they won't. That's where because they already made a move with this Gibson guy.
I disagree. That is status quo because it's just Jordan Lyles.
Okay.
That's it. It's just a different Jordan Lyles. They are still status quo to me. Like that all you did was shuffle the deck chairs.
Okay. So Henderson's going to start the year where?
Here.
No. What position?
Oh, I mean, that's to be determined. I mean, it's based on...
So how do you go about in the offseason, and I'll use... Turner was a myth, right? But did they not go get Trey Turner because they didn't want to pay him $300 million? Or did they not go get Trey Turner
because
Elias said...
being the shortstop.
Correct.
I understand...
Okay, so if you... And I think I saw this.
By the way, shortstop is still where there's actually players still available.
But here's what's funny. I saw an article the other day. My buddy that lives out in San Diego sent me this article, and it talked about the Padres getting Turner. And it said the Padres are making a huge push behind-the-scenes push for Trey Turner because I had written a few weeks ago to his Morning Dish, if you gave me the checkbook and said, name one player you would like the Orioles to get, I said him, right? So my buddy sent me this thing. He's like, look who's getting him. We're getting him. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, you can't get him. You have a shortstop already and a third baseman. Mm-hmm. How the hell are the Padres going to get him? What are you going to do with Tatis? Or what are you going to do with Manny? I guess he would
play second at that point, I guess is the
That's my point.
Plan would be.
Like, did we not go get Turner?
Well, I mean, most of us thought that the idea was the value is the flexibility. I think a lot of us thought.
So who plays third?
The value. Whatever you do this offseason, someone can move somewhere, right? Like that Gunnar Henderson can play third if you want to go out and get a Carlos Correa. Right. If you don't, then Gunnar Henderson can play short. I think that most of us felt that was the value. By the way, there is still a Correa and a Bogarts and a Dansby Swanson out there to be had. Like shortstop is still the one.
Take any of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would too, frankly. It's the
one good thing about Bogarts is if we get him, he won't hit 442 against us.
That is a good point. That is a very.
He might only hit 210 for us, but it'll still be better than having him beat us 4 times a year.
Them. Yes, 100%. Again, whatever it is, I just think there needs to be an upgrade. All right, we're going to talk about the Ravens. We're going to play Would You Rather Wednesday. Drew Forrester is
nice
here.
Nice game Sunday.
They won. I don't know if you saw it. They won the game. Are you aware?
I am aware.
They won the game.
I got a lot of thoughts on it. And I don't think I'm going to get quite as boisterous as you, but I do have one thing I want to say about people booing them. That's not going to go over very well.
I don't really care about that.
Okay, good.
Do whatever you want to do about that. Yeah,
Do we have tape? Somebody? I know Dave Smearman has it. My buddy Dave. We don't have it. Do we have a tape of when I erupted? We can find that somewhere, can't we?
Probably. I don't. Ryan. Ask Ryan.
I don't like listening to it because
Ryan will probably.
It's like
you're doing a little bit of his bit though. Like why? Like why?
It's a his bit.
Why do we want to relive that?
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
like I don't like listening to it because it reminds me I was insane.
Anyway.
Rick in Parkville.
Yeah. Moral of the story being.
Let's go out to Rick in Parkville. I just hope we do something different.
Who was it on Sunday? It was Brian and Owings Mills on Sunday.
It.
Brian and Owings Mills.
I heard it.
Said,
hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable. They're 8-4.
Hold them accountable.
And the crazy part again
for the left tackle's ankle getting blown up again.
Hold them accountable, he said.
Hold them accountable for the cornerback whose ACL just got repaired a year ago, who can still barely walk. Hold them accountable for that.
But if they were 4-8 and had all those things going on,
we'd kind of talk about it.
Let's talk. They're 8-4. Anyhow, I lost my mind.
I know.
I lost my mind.
Well, you should have.
I had to tie it back together though because we're not at the old place any longer.
You had to be,
we're at a place where
some decency.
I've already had some conversations about there being too much yelling at times. So I had to.
Well, you're not the only one that yells over there.
Hey, go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers right now. Get some great offers like $100 in free bets from Barstool after placing your first $10 bet, or up to $1,500 in risk-free bets from Caesars. Time is limited to get the best offers from all of the sports books. Go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers and sign up today. When we come back in, we're going to talk some Ravens. We'll do Would You Rather Wednesday. Drew Forrester's here, Glenn Clark Radio.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
UMBC basketball is back at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena, and tickets are available now at UMBCretrievers.com. Don't miss any of the great early season matchups as the men take on local rivals Morgan State on December 10th, and the women square off with American on December 18th. And on New Year's Day, a rematch of last year's America East Championship game when the men welcome Vermont to the Peak. Experience the excitement of game day by getting your tickets right now to come see the Retrievers at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena. Lock yours in at UMBCretrievers.com.
Join the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for Christmastide Stakes Day on Monday, December 26th. An exciting day of live horse racing awaits you with a whopping 6 stakes races worth $600,000 in prize money. Plus, enjoy a specially curated stakes buffet, a delicious hot chocolate bar, and hot cider cocktails. It may be cold, but Laurel Park has plenty of horse racing excitement, food, and beverages to keep you warm. Don't miss Christmastide Stakes Day at Laurel Park. Visit laurelpark.com for more info.
Another Orioles season is in the books, and the Bat-Around was there every step of the way as the Birds posted their first winning season in 6 years. And after promoting 2 #1 overall prospects in Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson, Mike Elias has said it's liftoff from here. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, and along with my co-host Zach Goodman, we'll be here every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon all off season, discussing every signing, trade, and waiver claim as we navigate the cold winter months that lead to spring training. You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or listen live at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. And if you miss a show, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. So tune into the Bat-Around with Paul Valley and Zach Goodman every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today. If you can't listen or watch live, you can subscribe to the show via Spotify, Amazon, or Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review while you're there. Or, if lying isn't your thing, we'll take a 3.5-star review too.
Back in here on GCR. Drew Forrester is here, drewsmorningdish.com. If you're looking for a simple holiday meal, try Chick-fil-A catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese. They have the perfect variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for
Who's stopping
details.
by? What other special guest?
I'm guessing at this point because I haven't gotten the text saying that he's – our friend Zach Merrick wanted to stop by this morning.
Oh, that'd be – oh, my God.
Yeah, he wanted to come
Can
by
I take
and
my
hang
shirt
out.
off?
Are you that into it?
Can I take my shirt off for him?
This
Is he taking his shirt off?
Yeah, right. I mean,
Remember in
I don't know why.
Hangover.
But,
Hangover.
okay,
Was it Hangover?
So do you
3?
know about this? By the way, okay. You can't show the picture.
Okay.
The Boys of Hamden calendar is available right now. Boysofhamden.com.
Oh my Lord.
The September cover models.
Can I have this?
Are yeah. Take that home. See,
Can I have this?
gift it from Mrs. Forrester.
No, you're on there.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
This benefits the Hamden Family Center. This is a charity thing that we're doing.
Right. It's funny we're doing one of these for FCA golf, but not quite as risque as
Well,
yours.
probably not for FCA golf.
Oh,
I would
Lord.
guess. September features
That's a big gun there.
Yeah, right. Myself and Stan the Fan
wait.
Charles.
Oh, wait a minute.
Are the
What
September
month?
cover models.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do I really want to see this?
I don't know if you really want to see
Do
it
I-
or not.
do I really?
I don't know. There's take a look. Here we go. There's September. There you go. That is available right now.
Now I'm
going to
ask a really dumb question.
Uh-huh.
I think I know the answer to
Yes.
this. You guys had underwear on, right?
Why?
You-
Why would we do that?
You did, right?
Why would we do that?
You did. Okay.
You
my
can get the
Lord.
Boys of Hamden calendar, boysofhamden.com right now. Again, please
Stan actually looks good.
order your thanks.
Um,
Please order your calendar right now. Again, it benefits
the
the
worst
Hamden
thing I've
Family
ever
Center.
seen.
You better settle down over there.
Do you remember?
You want 3, don't you? You
I'm
need
thinking
one.
this one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
You remember in one of the hangovers? I don't remember which one.
Mrs. Clark was very proud. She was so proud.
Oh
of
yeah.
mine.
When they were, it was Hangover 3 because they were banging the wall there that John Goodman owned to try to get to and
You're the only person who remembers anything about the Hangover.
and Ken
3,
Jeong
by the
said,
way.
"Why don't you take off your shirt?"
Oh yeah.
To Bradley Cooper, he goes, "Why don't you take off your shirt? I heard it helps."
Right. It
If
does.
Zach comes in here and doesn't
Okay,
take his shirt
so
off,
this is the funny part. I don't remember. I was on with Coleman or somebody one night over the summer.
poor Coleman.
They were at well, he's doing fine. He's hanging out with Adam Jones now. It's better.
Oh
yeah.
my Lord, really?
Yeah, he's doing a show with Adam Jones. Did you
I
not
didn't
know
know
that?
that. No, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
He's good.
I'd love to hear that one.
We were talking about it, and I was
have an extra bag of Cheetos.
I was
for that one.
Settle down.
Sorry.
Settle down. I was explaining this calendar to him,
Okay.
and Zach listens. Like Zach is a P1 radio
says,
listener.
Says I want to be in there.
Zach calls me and says, "I'd like to do the Boys of Hamden calendar
Done.
with you." No, Chief. There is zero chance that I am standing next to that man in a picture.
Well, what if you both had your shorts off?
Not good.
Not that you
good for me.
Not that you haven't been in that environment with him before.
Correct.
But
Correct.
anyway,
not a good.
not because never mind. I
settle
shouldn't.
down. Settle down over there.
Never mind.
Not a good look for me.
This has got nothing to do with
to be
Margaret.
standing next to him in a calendar picture. Proxy.
I was definitely worried, by the way, when your second kid was born and he was already tatted up.
Yeah, weird how
I
that
thought,
worked out. Right?
That's kind of weird. That looks just like.
He was, settle down over there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even Garrett got that one.
Oh, Garrett.
You know, he even got that one.
I like that you're basically just recycling the nicknames that you used to give my first son. And you're now using them
that
for
is his-
Griffin.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Graham.
Graham, yes, correct.
Little Graham.
Yeah, my
How's
older
Graham?
son.
He's driving yet?
Yeah,
How's little
basically.
Graham doing?
He's
Oh, it happens
he's
quick.
7 feet tall like Ethan.
Ethan this
It's-
morning just said to me, I took him to swim practice. He said, "Dad, what car am I getting?"
Oh, my God.
I'm
No,
like,
he didn't.
Ethan, bite your tongue.
No, he didn't.
I look back in the back. He's an adult. I'm like,
Yeah, right.
you used to be in a baby seat.
Correct.
All right, let's talk about the Ravens.
Hang on 2 seconds.
They're
right?
losing, by the way, this Sunday.
So Zach is home a couple weeks ago. They're playing all these shows. They did a residency at the Record Theater. It was a big deal for them.
A residency.
The first place
They
they
got
ever
$2
played.
grand a night to do the residency.
I don't know what if they sold it. They sold 4 shows that
Well, of
week
course
to
they
play
did.
at the Record Theater. Well, because they're an arena act that played at the Record Theater.
Right.
So I went out the first night of the thing and spent some time with his family. It was great to see him.
Last time I was at the Record Theater, I saw Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, no.
There were 8 people there.
Oh,
and the owner literally came over at 11 o'clock and said, "Let's
we're
wrap.
done. Yeah, we're done. We're done.
Let's wrap it up." I got payroll to meet.
It is great to have the Record Theater back. Big fan.
Yeah.
So he says to me, he's like, "Are you doing shows this week?" Well, I'm like, take off Thursday and Friday, but I am going to be over on 105.7 if you want to stop by. But I was doing 6 to 9 a.m. He was like, "Well, I'll stop by Friday." And I said, "No, you won't."
And he did.
No, he didn't.
Oh.
There was no chance. Stop.
Yeah, not 6 to 9 on
6
Friday.
to 9 a.m.? Zero chance that was happening. So
I talked to you that day.
Well,
the day after. Yeah, I talked to you.
Right.
You remember you called me?
Oh, that's right.
We talked about the soccer
We talked
game.
about soccer, 100%. So, no, you talked to me on Thanksgiving. You're on your way to the...
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That Friday, right?
No, Thanksgiving's Thursday. That's the way it works. You're on your way to the turkey bowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how'd that go, by the way?
Yeah.
How'd you guys do? How'd
How'd
you guys do?
By the way, my kids, for
What'd
some
you
reason, are
guys do,
obsessed with
Loyola?
I think because I work for Loyola College.
Yeah, well, you got to get them out of that
They
right
think
away.
that they're supposed to go to... It's a whole
Well, the
thing,
good
man.
news is the test is way easier
Yeah.
at Loyola.
Okay, so they have a chance. I'm
sure that.
So...
I'm kidding.
So he's texting me the other day about the football game.
Pretty much.
And we're talking about it, and he was like, "Well, I'll come in on Wednesday." I said, "All right, no problem."
That's today, Wednesday.
He said, "What time?" I said, "Well, anytime between 10 and noon."
Right.
Said,
Nothing
"Perfect."
yet.
So I tell him where it is. He says, "Awesome. I'll text you when I'm awake."
And tell him to bring.
By the way, haven't gotten a text.
Tell him
yet.
to bring Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, tell him to do that. Tell him to stop.
Does he still
by.
live in Hawaii?
Yeah, he still lives in
Okay,
Hawaii.
good for
Of
him.
course, Zach from the band all time.
That's where I would live too.
I would definitely not
could.
live. Yes, correct.
If I could, I would live there.
Make the same
in my next
upgrade.
life, I'm coming back. Living in Hawaii.
I'm in a weird place, right, where I wrote a column about this on Monday. The funny thing about the guy that called on Sunday that I flipped out on is that if he hadn't said something so absurd, if we had just had a conversation, we might have gotten to a place of some common ground. My big feeling at the moment is the biggest problem the Ravens have is they have to run the ball, and they're not running the ball. Like, the last 2 weeks, they're not running the ball even a little bit with their running backs. It's abysmal. It's 3 yards per carry. It's disastrous. They don't have another path to success. They don't have the talent. They don't have the only path they have to success is running the football. If they don't fix that, no matter what the circumstances are, whether
How are they fixing it?
Well,
I'm going to lose it on you now. How are they fixing it?
I mean, getting players back would go a long way to doing
I mean,
that.
obviously, without Stanley, they take such a hit when he's out.
100%.
And you I don't know exactly how. I don't know what happened the other.
Poorly.
Okay, but I don't know what happened the other day. But Makari was out for a while, and Falale came in, or whatever his name is. He came in. Like they're patching this together. This is going to go back, circle back to when you erupted about the whole accountability thing of the coach. You want the coach to be accountable. They don't have a left tackle. They sort of kind of don't have a right tackle. And when they do, he misses a quarter of the game. They don't have any wide receivers because the number one guy got hurt. They don't have any real running backs right now that are 100% healthy. I think Gus is trying, and he's back, but he's not 100%.
No, I think it's very
now,
clear.
there's an argument. If you take I don't know who you think the best team in football is, whoever it is. Let's just argue and say it's Philadelphia. If you take Philadelphia right now, they might be operating at 89% efficiency, meaning they might be I don't know because I don't follow them. They might be missing a rush end and they might be missing a guard, but whatever. But they're 89% efficient. The Ravens are about 60% efficient. That's the truth. Now they helped themselves with Roquan Smith. They have their defense, other than that episode at the end of the Jacksonville game, their defense has been good the last month, other than that fiasco in the fourth quarter.
Oddly have been really good when Kyle Hamilton's been on the field.
Okay, but
it's strange because he's not an impact player necessarily, but as Kyle Hamilton's come along, when he's been on the field, the defense has been really good.
But their offense has been, you can use whatever term you want, but I think we'd all agree the general term is the offense has been on and off, hot and cold, good and bad. the offense has been just okay. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been terrible. They beat up on some teams on the road this year. They beat New England on the road. They beat Tampa Bay on the road. They beat New Orleans on the road. New Orleans the other night, if they don't throw up all over themselves, would have beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. Like, they've done some good things offensively, and they've also stunk it up offensively, right? But they're doing that with about 60% of their team. And their quarterback, who, again, not arguing about is he a great quarterback or not, their quarterback whose main attribute is his athleticism, when he's hurt, he's now at 60%. And so this is why when someone calls in and says, hold the coach accountable, how do you hold the coach accountable for Ronnie Stanley's ankle getting blown up?
So, by the way, again, the hold the coach accountable thing is insane.
But it's that word that drives you nuts.
Right, it's
right?
nuts. It's
and
nuts.
I'm still going to continue to say this. I really do think this, and no one's told me this. I don't have any. I don't want to. Some source told. This is me thinking this based on what I watch and I see. I still say that if they flatline here at the end of the year, and if they go into Tennessee in the first playoff game and lose 23-10, I don't think John's coming back.
Let's talk about this. My point that I wrote in the column and that I've talked about for the last couple days is that if they don't figure out a way to start running the ball again, if they don't show that this
they can't throw it.
Correct.
We know that.
This system can work to do something of significance, then the first conversation I'm having isn't about the Greg Roman thing will meet its natural conclusion one way or the other.
He's done.
He's either going to Stanford
He's done.
or if they don't run the ball the rest of the season,
he's done.
They're going to move on from Greg Roman.
He's done.
He's here to run the ball. If they're not running the ball, they're going to move on from him.
And by the way, that's his strength.
That's what he does.
Right.
Correct. He doesn't do something else. If they can't run the ball, they're going to move on from Greg Roman if he doesn't get the Stanford job, right?
But everyone's going to hate T. Martin next year, too.
I understand that, but it's a different let's get there,
I understand.
right?
Right.
That's the first thing, right? The first thing is either Greg Roman's getting a head coaching job, or if this doesn't suddenly, and I keep having to say that because people are dismissive of the idea that it could, but there is still time, and there is still the ability to get healthy, and there is still the ability that at some point you have Ronnie Stanley, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus Edwards on the field, and you play the style that you wanted to play, and you win a couple of games doing it. Because,
if you get these guys back and they're healthy,
you should have beaten the
you're
good
at
teams doing that.
80% efficiency.
Correct, earlier in the
and
year.
now you start to get better.
But if it doesn't occur, for whatever reason,
right,
either because the guys don't get healthy or because they do
get
and
hurt
it just
again,
doesn't work, whatever it is,
right,
if that doesn't occur, then to me the conversation is about the organizational philosophy. It's not about John Harbaugh. It's not about Eric DeCosta. It's not about anyone in particular. It's about sitting down and saying, we've done this for 5 years now. For 5 years, we have prioritized running the ball. We have devalued wide receivers. We have said we are going to do this thing. And after 5 years, if we don't have something to show for it, it is time to reconsider if that is the way that you go about winning at the highest level in the NFL in 2022. Not because it was a failure, not because they need to be held accountable, not because the coach is a problem, not because every single person in the leadership of this organization said, we're on board with this. They decided this thing they're doing was the way to go about the zig we zag was the way to go about doing business.
So is this about the quarterback?
Not about the quarterback at all. It's about the philosophy. It's about saying we're going to be a run-first team.
Okay, but it is about the quarterback.
Not at all. How's it about the quarterback?
The long-term analysis of it, it's definitely about the quarterback.
In what way?
In that I think everything you just said is 100% accurate. That it is a scheme or a system issue. I agree with that. Is this the quarterback that? And I don't. I think
that's not even a question to me.
Okay, but
there's not even a remote amount of debate about that. Like,
sure, there is.
Maybe to you,
because
not to me.
Well, but it is a question because of his status, not because of his play.
Okay, that's fine to say.
His status.
But that again goes to a second. I've said all along, if you fail to keep Lamar Jackson around, then everybody's got to go. Like you think.
Oh, I think that's part of the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's really my point. If you're what's going to happen first is are they cleaning everyone out and bringing in new people? Meaning, we all know that if John goes, everybody goes. Yeah,
I don't.
A
What do
new
you mean
coach.
by everybody goes? You mean the staff?
Yeah, the
coaching staff. Yes,
Sure.
I'm talking about the leadership structure.
No,
of the team.
I'm talking about if John were to go,
right.
Everyone's going.
Yes.
If Greg Roman goes,
Right.
The likelihood is most of the offensive staff will go.
I don't know about most.
If it's T. Martin who takes the job,
right,
then maybe not.
Yeah.
But if a real offensive coordinator with experience in the league comes in,
yes,
he's going to want his own
to
people.
bring some people
Right.
with them. I
now,
agree with that.
Here's the
but
question.
Typically, that's a bit more 50-50.
Okay, but wait a minute. So I don't even know who this is that I'm saying. But if you brought in someone from the Lions who's got 12 years in the league as
they're
whatever.
talking to Willie Taggart, apparently.
I saw that yesterday. Everybody was going crazy.
Right.
So is he taking the job with Lamar unsigned? Is someone uprooting, someone leaving a current position and coming here and not knowing who the quarterback is?
Well, I mean, they're going to know who Lamar's going to be the quarterback next year, one way or the other.
I don't know about that.
What the scenario where you think they're going to trade him?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
Again, at that
point,
point,
if he's not signed long term, then there's always room there for them to do something with him. Yeah, I mean, that's the truth. Whether or not you think it would happen or not, if he's not signed, they could always trade him. I mean, they could trade him if he was signed.
Until we get to a moment where there's any suggestion that the Ravens are considering that, it's absurd to me to talk about it.
I think if they don't sign him, they're trading him.
But they tried to sign him. They want to sign him.
I know they do, but they can't.
I understand that, but the scenario where you're saying, well, we're just going to go ahead and if we can't.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you think they would franchise him next year?
Yes.
I don't.
Why? In what world would you not franchise? First of all,
Because
you have to franchise tag him to even know where you trade him.
I'm sorry. Let me reword that. Do you think he would play in Baltimore next year under the franchise tag? I do not.
Why?
Because I don't think they would take that. I think they would move him. They would trade him. Because his value, he's just like a car. His value decreases with every year. And if you can't sign him this year and you can't sign him next year, he'll have no value by the time it's all said and done. That's my opinion. No one's told me that.
So the argument that you would make is that once you know he's playing on the first one, then you know you'd have to tag him again the following
for
year.
$55 million.
Well, it's more than that at this point. I mean, it's not even 55. I mean, like now you're talking about.
I thought it was 42 and 55, but I could be wrong.
Those numbers can still keep going up.
Okay.
I mean, like more quarterbacks are going to get contracts as the cap goes up.
Tyler Huntley.
I don't think that's going to be the one.
I don't think he would play in Baltimore under the franchise tag next year. That's just my opinion. They're either going to sign him or he won't be here.
Yeah, I keep coming back. The insanity. If they can't get this done with Lamar Jackson, they can't operate in the NFL any longer.
Oh, you're insane.
No, you can't.
Oh, come on.
This is nuts.
Oh, come
You can't
on.
operate in a world where you say, well, we just can't pay the quarterback. You are setting yourself up to never be able to be that franchise any longer. There's a far bigger.
Now you're doing radio.
No. I'm not doing radio at all.
Lord.
If you don't understand that this is how this works, that you don't get to decide. This thing where you think you get to negotiate what the value of a quarterback is in the NFL is nuts.
No,
you don't get to do that.
The question is, can you function with another quarterback other than him? And the obvious answer to that is yes.
No.
Teams have done. Well, you're insane.
Who has done it?
Philadelphia just did it with Jalen Hurts.
Correct. They drafted a quarterback.
Correct. That's what the Ravens did. That's what they would just do again.
They didn't move on from a highly successful quarterback. They had a quarterback that stunk.
Understood.
That they couldn't keep.
But all you got to do, if you're the Ravens, all you got to do is go get another one.
It's not sure because definitely if you draft another quarterback, that guy's going to be good.
No, you don't.
You don't have a clue.
You 100% don't. But they've been pretty good at it. The last 2 they've drafted have been pretty good.
They found one that was okay, and they found
one. Watch yourself.
Man,
you bite your tongue, you Flacco hater, you.
Me, the Flacco hater. You know,
guy. That's
Mr.
why I said I
Flacco
can't believe
hater.
you just said that.
But you know the reality of it.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
I just think
it's it's such
No,
an
it
insane
isn't.
way of doing business
No,
that
it's
you
not.
can't even begin. Dude,
It
it's
is
nuts.
not. No,
it's
it is not.
absolutely bat-ass insane
No, it
to say
isn't.
we'll take our chances and hope that the next guy can be good because
it
we
isn't.
don't want to pay the guy.
No, it's not.
That's absolutely badass.
It would be nuts if you didn't have a salary cap. It's
True.
not. Nope.
True.
You're wrong.
Tell me how many quarterbacks have been drafted in the last 4 years?
Oh, hell, I don't know. I mean, I could tell you who won the Masters 2 years ago. But
How many of them do you feel comfortable in?
well, it's not how many do I feel comfortable with. How many have done well?
Correct.
8.
Not even. The last 4 years have been abysmal.
Okay, then and I'll name the 8, and you tell me
4 years.
Okay,
4
so
drafts.
Okay, ready? Tua.
Fairly.
Herbert.
They tried to get rid of him last year. They gave him.
He could be the MVP of the league this
yes,
year.
because they suddenly gave him extraordinarily high-level wide receivers.
That's a novel thought.
Yeah,
too.
what a thought.
Tua, Herbert,
Yeah. Okay.
Burrow.
Yeah.
It's Burrow. It's not Burrow. When did Baker get drafted?
Yeah. Keep going with this
Fields.
list. What?
He's had a great year in Chicago.
He's ran the ball really well. They're terrible.
The same thing our quarterback does.
No, my God, we're really doing this, dude. You're not getting Justin Fields on this list.
He's done the same thing Lamar does.
No, he's run the ball the same way that Lamar does. He hasn't shown you anything in being a quarterback that's anywhere close to what Lamar has.
Hurts. Which, by the way, I didn't think he'd be any good at all.
Yeah.
So I was wrong on him.
Keep going.
I'm thinking. I don't know when did Allen come in the league? The same time as Lamar, so he'd be 5 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. When did Derek Carr come in? How long has he been?
Yeah, not in the last 4 years.
Geno Smith's had a great run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I'm thinking. Give me a second.
Do you like Kyler?
I mean, I don't, but you can put him in there.
No,
He's
you
been
can't.
good.
Jordan Love?
Dude, it's abysmal.
The kid in New England's been decent.
Brock Purdy.
Kid in New England's been decent.
My
hasn't been
God,
great.
they were ready to bench him for Bailey Zappi.
Again, you're taking one moment, right?
You're trying to make it seem like if they moved on from Lamar Jackson and had Mac Jones. I'm saying you're moving on from Lamar Jackson for a quarterback, and in the last 4 years, you've come up with 4.
So go get
4.
one. So go.
That's insane.
No,
bro.
it's not
It's
if you got
nuts.
Not if you got to give him
It's
250 million.
bonkers.
Not if you got to give him 250
That's the way
million.
the league works.
No, it doesn't.
You have a quarterback or you have no prayer.
Go
None.
get one.
Again, you're hoping. Your strategy is hope. Your strategy is
or sign the guy to a reasonable
maybe
contract.
that's not an option. You don't get that option.
Then we just disagree on the philosophy of how you do it.
So your philosophy is to not have a quarterback.
No, my philosophy is to have a really good quarterback. And we can argue about if he's a really good quarterback.
My God.
We
it's
could
come
argue
to
that
this.
too.
It's come to this.
But we could argue
We're
that
trying
too.
to argue whether Lamar Jackson is a really good quarterback or not. For God's sake.
We would do semantics on that. What's your term for what he is?
He's an outstanding quarterback.
He is. I would argue that.
In what world?
I would say he's a good quarterback.
Oh, my God.
Oh, there you go. So we do that. You say outstanding, I say good.
Give up. We can't even agree.
I know this.
with that.
Our opinions matter.
Yeah, they sure as hell matter. They're very important.
We can't. We matter.
This is if you can't do this, then just close up shop. You can't do it in the
You're
NFL
insane.
in the long. This is the way the
Come
league works.
on.
You have a quarterback or you don't. Period. You either have one or you don't have one.
That's correct. Now that's correct. Now you're 100% right about that. That you either have a quarterback or you don't win. That is correct. And we have one.
Yes.
But we can't pay him.
Well, no, they can pay him. They don't want to pay him.
Because he's not worth what he's asking for.
No, you think that. That's the way the quarterback market works.
That's what the Ravens think.
Deshaun Watson was worth what he was worth.
That's what the Ravens think.
And that means if they truly feel that way,
well, they
should
definitely
pack it
feel
up.
that way.
Then they should all go. They should all go.
But they clearly feel that way.
No, I think that they're dragging their feet.
Because they don't think he's worth $250 million.
Because they want someone else to give a guaranteed contract out so they don't have to be the ones to do it. Because it's way easier when you're not the one.
Well, know they're not going to do it.
Then it's so much more difficult for them to have to walk into the meetings and be like,
we're talking about the World Cup.
Sorry. No, nobody cares any longer.
That's true.
U.S. is out. I'm sorry. I tried.
How about poor Spain?
Spain
Spain couldn't make one penalty
They don't want to
kick.
have to walk in and be that team. I'll come back to it one last time.
Okay,
my
go
final
ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
My final thought.
I love doing this.
You
by the
change
way.
it. Why? Why?
I love doing this.
Why? Change the philosophy.
It's the Skip Bayless Shannon Sharp thing yesterday.
I don't watch any of that.
Shannon
can't.
Sharp said, "I'll take Mahomes over Burrow," and Skip Bayless said, "Not me. I'll take Burrow over Mahomes."
Okay.
I love it.
Do what? What?
Just because
Why do you love that?
I just like
what is that
fighting
for?
with you.
What is that?
I was wondering what kind of trade value we could get for Lamar.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. You know why?
sakes.
No. You know why? I'm glad you brought it up. Because tomorrow at Drew's Morning Dish,
Oh, good.
the stats nerd
Good. Can't wait.
has the full explanation of what the Ravens could get for Lamar.
Yeah.
No, I'm being totally serious.
Okay.
I mean, Seahawks have 2 first-round picks for Russ. Lions got 2 first-round picks
listen to
for
this?
Stafford.
Listen.
I'd like to have. I'd prefer to have a quarterback. How's that?
I do
How's that
too.
worked out for
I
those
do
teams?
too.
Listen,
But
it's
they're
a very
looking
good
really.
point.
I mean, they have a bright
How's it
future.
looking for those teams?
Listen to Griffin.
Yeah.
They got a bright future.
What
They
do
got
they
a
not
lot
have?
of draft
What
picks.
did neither of those teams have?
They got Geno.
Why
Seahawks
are they
have Geno
not
Smith.
threatening to win a Super Bowl?
The Lions are in bad
Why
shape.
are they not
Well,
threatening
they
to
have a
win a
terrible
Super
roster.
Bowl?
Lions have a terrible
Lions are
roster.
actually playing pretty good.
The Lions have won like
Their offense is good.
They're like
5 of
3
their
or
last
4.
six
Their
or
offense is
something
good.
like
Their
that.
defense is terrible.
Why are they no threat to win a Super Bowl?
Seattle might win
What
the
do those
NFC West.
What do those teams not have?
I guess because they don't. You would say they don't have a
Seattle's
top.
going to win the NFC West.
They don't have a top.
Well, who's
got-
going to win it if they don't?
That San Francisco's defense is still going to carry them to winning the NFC West. Like they're going to be fine.
man.
Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't so scary good that they can't get by. They'll be fine.
Speaking of playing with your shirt
Neither.
off.
True, I do agree with that. You and I agree about that subject. There's no reason why
Holy
he should
cow.
ever.
We should be in the calendar.
They don't have a. They should. They should do it, Jimmy Garoppolo.
They do have
now.
game-changing receivers.
Who?
Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit.
But they don't have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Why?
Because they don't have
Because they don't have a quarterback.
I got him.
It's not hard.
I got him on my side, and I wasn't even trying.
No, you answer the question. Why do they have no chance to win the Super Bowl?
Who?
The Lions and the Seahawks.
The Lions don't because their defense is terrible.
They don't have a chance to win the Super Bowl because they don't have a quarterback.
That's not true.
Jared Goff got to a
not-
Super
Their
Bowl.
offense has
Thank you.
actually
You're
been
right.
pretty good.
Whose?
Detroit's offense has been
Yes,
great.
they've been good. I agree.
Their
No
defense
one-
is not very
Their
good.
defense stinks. Their defense stinks. You're not wrong about that. You have to have that guy.
That's correct.
Have
I agree with
to have
that.
them.
Yeah.
Have to. Have as many first-round picks as you want. Who do you have as your quarterback?
I don't know.
It just looks so hard
Every year
for the
when
Ravens
we're in the
to sign
playoffs,
Lamar.
we never win.
Why
right
does
now.
it? I don't understand why it looks so hard for them to sign Lamar.
Because it just doesn't seem like they're going to meet the number that he wants.
It sounds like they don't want to. They don't
Yeah.
want to.
No, they do.
it. It's not hard.
They want to sign him.
No, they
You
don't
know.
want to sign. They don't want to give a fully guaranteed contract. For some
Correct.
reason, we're
That's
all
correct.
worked up about the idea of a fully guaranteed contract that's gonna be fully guaranteed anyway. This is the absurdity of it. We're all so. It's because it's some bridge that you're not allowed to walk across. They're not cutting Lamar Jackson. They won't be able to afford to. They're going to end up giving him more money down the road.
You think they're winning Sunday?
I don't feel good about it right now.
I don't either.
I don't think they are.
I can't believe I'm saying
I don't
that.
think they are. I don't
think they're winning either.
I don't think they're winning this Sunday. I don't feel good about the Browns.
I can't
either,
stand
to be
it.
totally honest with you. I don't
The
feel
Browns
good
game?
about, I don't feel good about either one of them.
We're losing the next two?
UMBC basketball is back
what
at
a-
Chesapeake Employers
What a
Insurance
loser
Arena.
you are.
Dog.
UMBC, they won.
They did. They beat Columbia
Towson plays,
last night.
Clemson
They play
tonight.
Clemson tonight, yes. But I'm talking about UMBC.
And it's not
Stop.
Clemson, by the way.
That's fine. I don't care. I'm doing a sponsor read now. This is not the time. UMBC basketball is back at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena. Tickets are available. UMBCretrievers.com. Don't miss any of the great early season matchups. Of course, Morgan State on Saturday, and then the big one on New Year's Day, Vermont, a rematch. Do I come to your house and chew
I'm
gum?
doing Back in Black in the background. Bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum,
on New Year's Day,
ba-bum,
the big showdown with
ba-da-bum,
Vermont.
ba-da-bum, ba-bum,
The
ba-bum,
women
ba-bum,
take on
ba-bum,
American on
Ba-da-bum.
December 18th.
ba-da-bum, ba-bum,
Experience the
ba-bum,
excitement
ba-bum,
of game day at the Peak by
Ba-da-bum.
getting your tickets at
ba-da-bum.
UMBC.
You're the ones that keep paying me to come.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. All right, we come back in. I don't know what we're doing.
This is great.
Is it?
What the hell else
is
would
it-
you be doing?
Would you rather win? Hey,
Soccer?
I need you to start talking up Glory Days Grill. We're going on the 19th, you and I, 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
We're hanging out. We need people to bring toiletries and packs of underwear. All right? That's what we need.
Oh, we could do a lot with that.
I understand, but we got to think about that. We need you to show up, Glory Days Grill in Towson. I also need
I have something too.
slow response yesterday. We got, I don't know, we got a handful. I need you guys to get in $20 for our Bowl Pick'em contest.
I want in.
You know how it works. I've only read
It's not that kind of bowl. There, kid.
I actually can't. He made half a. Oh, you know what? I'm really mad. Proctor's been killing it this morning, and I just haven't been able.
Oh Lord!
He's been killing
this
it.
clown
I'm sorry.
Is he still around?
Proctor said.
Why did he get a job?
Proctor said that was the last time Drew was at Recker Theater. More interesting, the first time Drew was at the Senator Theater was the premiere of Wizard of Oz.
Oh God!
It's pretty good.
When does this guy get a job or something?
It was pretty
What a
good.
clown!
It was pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna be at Glory Bowl Pick'em. $20 to get in. It's a 50-50. Half to the winner, half to charity. All right. So get in at Glenn Clark on Venmo, Glenn Clark 180 on PayPal, or $ Glenn Clark Radio on Cash App. So those of you that have asked, can I get 2? Yes, I'll let you have 2 spots, no more than that, for yourself. I mean, if you want to farm one out to your wife or something, that's a different conversation. But you can have 2 spots, as many as 2 spots in the Bowl Pick'em contest. Again, 50-50, half to our Helping Up collection, half to charity. Get in right now, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, and then come out on Monday, December 19th. We will be at Glory Days Grill, 6 to 8 p.m., hanging out, collecting toiletries, collecting underwear. And I know how that sounds when you say it that way, but understand what I'm talking is you go to the store, you buy a pack of Fruit of the Looms, Hanes, bring them over. Men, women, they need all of it. Get it to us Monday, December 19th at Glory Days Grill for the folks at Helping Up Mission.
I got something real quick.
Yes.
This Friday and Saturday, right down the street from here at IHM, we have a live nativity scene.
Ah.
So anybody that wants to come out and watch.
Are you playing a role?
I'm just kind of the director of it.
Okay.
We have a bunch of kids from IHM who are the characters, and it's a 25-minute play, if you will, on the birth of Jesus.
What time does it run?
6 to 8 on Friday, 5 to 7 on Saturday. Hot chocolate and cookies for everybody.
Ooh.
And it's right in front of the church.
All right.
6 o'clock Friday night.
I
5
hope
o'clock.
it goes. You didn't hear what happened at the one in Florida, did you?
No, but I'm nervous. So don't tell me.
I'll talk about it off the air.
Oh
maybe.
Lord.
Maybe
Oh man.
We'll talk about
We've been
it
working
off
on
the
this
air.
thing for a month, so don't give me any.
All right, that's this weekend. This
coming
Friday
up.
and Saturday.
This Friday and Saturday.
All right, very good. Very good. All right, Drew Forrester's here. When we come back in, we'll play Would You Rather Wednesday, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Join the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for Christmastide Stakes Day on Monday, December 26th. An exciting day of live horse racing awaits you with a whopping 6 stakes races worth $600,000 in prize money. Plus, enjoy a specially curated stakes buffet, a delicious hot chocolate bar, and hot cider cocktails. It may be cold, but Laurel Park has plenty of horse racing excitement, food, and beverages to keep you warm. Don't miss Christmastide Stakes Day at Laurel Park. Visit laurelpark.com for more info.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The weather outside is really unpleasant, so it's time to warm up with some comfort classics this winter at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Try the Twisted Ribs and Wings combo. It's 2 full pounds of meat, the mac and cheese bites, Mr. Richards meatloaf, the citrus salmon, the winter spinach salad, and for dessert, here's internet radio personality Griffin Bass to tell you about the bourbon butter cake.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Pair it with a blood orange bourbon cider or a devil's backbone cranberry smash. Place your order now at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
Looking for a simple holiday meal? Try Chick-fil-A catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese, enjoy a variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details.
Tune in to Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m. And if you really have nothing better to do, keep listening to this show, too.
All right, back in here on GCR. Today's show also brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Of course, the fight is Saturday night. Remind me who it is. It's
I want to hear you see if you can pronounce their names.
Jan Blachowicz.
Pretty close.
Blachowicz. And are not going to work here anymore. I don't even who is the
Magomed Ankalaev.
Magomed Ankalaev.
Yeah.
UFC 282 on Saturday night. And Patty the Baddie's on the card, and the place to be to watch and bet on all the fights is the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Reserve your spot right now by emailing events@sportssocialmd.com.
Let's talk about Maryland basketball. Let's talk about the World Cup.
Fill in the blank.
Okay, go ahead.
Florida man busted for blank with blank wrecking church nativity scene.
Oh, no. No, I don't want to hear about this.
How about I just show?
Okay, go
let me
ahead.
just show you the headline,
Yeah,
and
let me see.
we won't even say it out
Because
loud.
next week you can do this to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Florida. Yeah.
Well, the good news is our manger is in the front of the church.
Okay.
Right on Loch Raven Boulevard.
It's unlikely
So that
yeah, probably
that likely
probably
wouldn't
not gonna likely.
But that makes me nervous. But we're in good shape.
I hope yours goes.
Thanks to my friends at Royal Farms, by the way, for donating cookies.
Oh, that's nice of them. It's very nice that you. Oh, and we got a bunch. Didn't you get a bunch of toilet paper from them that were?
I did.
And some of that's headed to the Helping Up mission.
If you want it, I mean,
why wouldn't we want it?
Because we got a gazillion rolls of it.
That's awesome.
Okay,
I love everything about that.
Okay,
wonderful. Say is this not our thing any longer? I feel like you're kind of
100% ducked out of it.
Yeah, I kind of noticed there was some quiet quitting going on over here the last.
Oh, it's not. I'm not quiet about it at all.
What the heck?
You're doing a great job.
No,
I don't want to interfere with you.
No, I can't take on this burden.
Hey, Lamar,
I don't know
do
if
it yourself.
I don't know if you've seen the ratings yet. Seriously.
Hey, Lamar, do it
I don't know if you've
yourself.
seen the ratings recently. I can't do all of this on my own.
I've seen the ratings.
Need a little bit of a lift.
I think I'm doing 105.7 the 23rd.
Oh, they're that desperate? Oh, God.
And the 30th.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
I didn't either.
What time are you doing on the 23rd?
I think at night. I can't do it
They
during
still
the day.
do shows. They still shoot shows at night?
I think maybe because of the holiday time they are, but I can't do it during the day because I got golf.
You got golf?
Fridays, I play the Penguin Tour.
What is that?
The Penguin Tour up in
Go
York.
out, it's 6 degrees outside, and
Yeah, up in York.
You guys are psychopaths. You guys are psychos. All right, Would You Rather Wednesday.
It's the Penguin Tour.
You guys have problems. You need to seek help. Seek help, bro.
What else you going to do on a
Would You
Friday?
Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Glory Days Grill winter seasonal menu. That's, of course, where we're going to be on the 19th. It's Glory Days Grill here in Towson from 6 to 8
Their
p.m.
chili is so good, it's insane.
It is very good.
Gosh.
Have we tried the twisted ribs and wings combo?
No.
Griffin refers to it as a meat tornado. It is 2 pounds of meat.
Shave that
It's
mustache,
outstanding.
by the way. You look
the
like
winter spinach salad,
No.
the citrus
you look
salmon.
like Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter.
You know what? That's actually really good.
What's wrong
Wow,
with
that's really
that?
good.
Look up Gabe because your parents would know who
the
that
mac
is.
and cheese bites, the bourbon butter
Look up
cake,
Gabe
and
Kaplan.
so much more.
Not Kapler, that's a baseball player.
Pair it with the blood orange bourbon cider, a devil's backbone cranberry smash. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website to get your order in. And again, come over and join us at Glory Days Grill Monday, December 19th. Bring your toiletries. Bring your underwear, things along those lines to help us help
He
the
can't
Helping
find
Up
Gabe
mission.
Kaplan.
I gotta find him
Kaplan.
in this specific movie. Welcome Back, Kotter.
It's not a.
There he is. That's
not a
you.
movie.
You look just like him.
This is
It's
You
not
look just like him.
It's not bad. It really isn't bad.
I guess so.
Bum,
He's had a
bum,
lot.
bum.
He's had a lot that were worse. All right. Would you rather?
Welcome back.
Would you rather?
That was a great show, by the way.
It was all right.
Oh.
Would you rather? Number one.
Okay.
I mean,
Punch John Proctor in the face or hit John with a 2x4?
I know how you're going to react to this one. This one really maybe isn't for you.
Go ahead.
I can guarantee you that the Ravens will win exactly two playoff games this year.
Okay. So we get to the AFC Championship game.
Or I can guarantee you they won't win a playoff game.
Okay.
But you will be allowed to make any changes you like to the Ravens' leadership structure, personnel-wise. And you have to tell me what changes you would make.
They win 2 games.
Guaranteed 2 playoff wins.
But they lose, and they're not going to the Super
exactly
Bowl.
2 playoff
They win
wins.
2 playoff games.
Yes.
Or they don't win any playoff games.
Yep. And you are tasked with what we doing now. You're in charge.
And I can cut Kevin Zeitler if I want.
I mean, I guess. I don't know any earthly reason why you would.
I don't like it.
Probably gonna be the team's MVP at this point.
Right. Boy.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey will be MVP.
Boy, oh boy.
Zeitler's on the short list.
Boy. I always say like nothing beats winning, like winning and getting.
You're supposed to talk into the microphone.
Getting there and winning. And I don't know who I would can. Man, this is a good one. Usually these are not
normally
very
they
good.
stink, right? I get it.
I'll take the 2 wins.
Okay.
I'll take the 2 wins.
All right. Probably going to keep status quo afterwards. Probably going to mean.
Oh no, I'm still firing somebody.
No, it doesn't work that way.
You just don't know.
It doesn't work that way. You don't get to do both. 2 playoff wins almost certainly means it remains status quo.
I would say that part of that also depends on how did we get in.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get in because we went 12-5 and we won the division, or did we flatline here at the end and make it on the last week when somebody lost to somebody else and we made it by
and the Bengals didn't bother to play anybody because they'd already clinched there.
How did we?
But does that matter if you win 2 playoff games?
It kind of does.
If you win 2. Because at that point, if you're a low seed,
well, who's the
now
guy,
you have to be.
Who's the one guy you would want out? It's obviously Roman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is, too, because, again, people are, for the most part, people are insane. Like these idiots who stood out there last week and yelled at him.
I mean,
but
they
there
offer
is
nothing to society.
But there is a train of thought that also says, like, that these positions do have a shelf life. And, frankly, I think that's what John looks at this point. I've done this for 14 years here, right? So the one personnel move you would make is Roman. But who are you going to go get? And if your argument is
Willie Taggart,
well, if your argument is it doesn't matter, we'll just go get someone. Oh, you're missing.
Yeah. The quarterback thing.
You're
going back to that. My bad. My
let you
fault.
right into it.
Yeah, my fault. That's on me.
I don't know. I would say that it does. To me, it depends on how you get to the 2 wins.
But I actually think it'd be better the other way, weirdly, because then you would have to beat like the Chiefs in the first round. You would have to beat somebody in. You have to beat 2.
You'd have to win 2 games you shouldn't have won.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Like the other scenario they're presenting, where you're like, I don't really know if I'm.
Who's going to be in the Super Bowl? What's your call right now?
Who the F knows?
Right now,
Dallas.
It's hard to
Vikings,
do that.
Dolphins.
It's hard to do that.
It's
right?
very hard to do it.
Who's it going to be?
Dallas.
Vikings, Dolphins. That's an interesting.
Dallas, Buffalo.
Dallas, Buffalo.
Cowboys always choke.
Everybody in the NFC always choke. Name the team that you can count on in the NFC right
Niners.
now. Sure.
Niners.
Yes, Brock Purdy.
Beginning of the year, I said 49ers 28, Vegas 24.
Oh, I don't know. Vegas isn't dead yet.
No, they could go 10-7 and still get
Not
in.
dead
I just
yet.
saw something the other day. I kind of think Philly's getting in.
Maybe they're the best.
I think it's their
There's no
charmed,
debate about that.
It's
they're
they're injury free for the most part. It's their charmed year.
I hear you,
but I don't know.
All right.
I got to think they're playing Kansas City.
All right, so you're going with
it's got to be Kansas City and Philly, right? Like
boy,
football gods.
Yeah, there is something about that, isn't there? There really is. All right, Griffin, what are you doing?
How are the Flyers doing, by the way?
I'm a
cares. cares?
I mean, I want the
Caps
wins.
and Flyers tonight in
okay.
Philly. We should have gone to that.
I want the
don't
wins. I want the wins. I want the wins.
I'm going to see Jimmy Eat World tonight, actually.
I could have taken a Bobby Clark card up there with me like I did the one time with Tony Seaman.
What a weirdo you are.
Because I don't
Anyway,
have I don't have a
wins.
massive problem with the current personnel. I mean, I think and I feel like
We're
Roman.
asking him.
And I feel like. And I feel like Roman's gone at the end of the season, no matter what. I just kind of have that feeling. But if I got to make a change,
two playoff wins and he
Yeah.
doesn't take the Stanford job, I don't think there's a chance that they're firing Greg Roman.
There's no way Stanford hires him.
I don't know who the other candidates are.
But one change, if I can make a change, I would think I have not been impressed with Eric DaCosta.
Ooh.
And I kind of want to bring
Going
in. I want to
war
bring
on
in Kevin Colbert from Pittsburgh because he knows how to evaluate a wide receiver.
Just bring in Kevin.
Yeah,
Hey, Kevin, what are you up to?
Just definitely leave.
Hey, Kevin, what are you up to?
Yeah.
Take
Why
the
don't you
Ravens.
come down here to
That's
work
definitely
for
a
us?
thing that would happen.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that, by the way. That wasn't part of the scenario. You only get to get rid of somebody.
How dare Aaron
don't get to say
strain
who I bring in.
Lamar's PCL?
There's no.
I mean, what are you thinking about, Eric? Hurting Lamar's knee like
Yeah,
that?
right. I am.
Eric, how could you possibly hurt Ronnie Stanley's ankle?
I'm taking the playoff wins. Winning two
Okay.
playoff.
I'm also.
winning
That's
two.
gonna be my answer as well.
Winning
But
2 playoff games is enough to prove.
So you're a Roman lover, huh?
That's me. You know me. Love some Greg Roman.
Stanford.
What's that?
I mean, people at Stanford are insane.
Well, I mean, I don't know who the other options are. I don't know who else they could hire. I really don't. I mean, I genuinely have no idea who else they. I haven't even seen. Have there been other coaches connected to the Stanford job? I genuinely haven't.
It
seen.
is. I'll say this with all due respect because it's a great institution.
Yes.
It is Stanford football.
Correct.
I mean, it's a step up from Navy, but not much.
Most people are saying the playoff wins. A couple
Okay.
of people.
Okay.
A couple of people want. Cy wants Eric DaCosta out.
Yeah, that's a good
you'll
one there,
believe it-
Cy.
You'll never
Thanks, Cy.
believe. You'll never believe that Ken Zales wants John Harbaugh gone.
Oh, boy, that's a shock.
Yeah, right.
Really, Ken? We didn't know that.
I
like, hey, Ken. Never
yeah.
mind.
Simon had
I
to
can't
marry
believe
him.
John hurt Lamar's
I know,
knee.
It's weird. Simon had to marry him is doing some weird shtick, and I don't fully understand. I think he's. Forget the playoffs. We need to hold John Harbaugh accountable. Which, if he had just left it there, that would have been funny, right? Like that would have been a funny line.
I love it.
But then he followed up by saying, "Fire him and Greg Roman and replace him with Matt Burke." And I don't know what the comedy is there. Like I don't know what the.
I'm all for
because
that.
of
I'm not
I guess
really-
because of
Matt Burke's a
Saturday,
because
you bring in an old center.
oh,
because
Jeff.
of
Oh,
Jeff Saturday.
all right. My
Okay.
fault. My fault.
I thought he meant because Matt Burke's a Catholic.
I would have left it at the end, at the first line. I would have left it, Simon. At
But
the
that
end of the
Matt Burke
that
thing's a
first
pretty
line.
good-
That,
yeah,
was,
that's
a, that
not
was
bad.
a really good one. All right, number 2. Would
But
you?
Jeff Saturday allowing the entire last minute of the game to go by the other night and not call timeout, and afterwards say, "No, that was part of the
Hang on a
plan."
second.
And then the
You-
next
you're
day,
you're and I are going to fight about this. I think he was doing the right thing.
keep going to the
Nope.
next thing.
Nope.
Go.
We're going to talk about it.
No, we're not.
No. You know why we're going to talk about it?
Go on to the next thing.
What?
The next day, he
Leaving-
said, "You're right."
Leaving. I know because he got pressured. Leaving no time for your opponent is the most important thing that you can do.
Go to the next thing.
Leaving no time at all. What? When the Broncos got the ball back on Sunday, did you feel good?
10 more seconds, 8-1.
Yes. Leaving.
If
no
the dude doesn't collect the ball at the goal line and run it out,
Yes.
they probably win.
Leaving no time on the clock is
Go to
the
the next
most important thing you can do now.
Go
It
to the
is
next one.
far more important. You can't let the
How
other
about
team
them
get the
on
ball
Sunday
with any
night?
time on the clock.
How about the Colts on Sunday
well,
night?
they're terrible. I mean, like
They give you up 33
I'm
points in the
aware.
fourth quarter.
I'm aware. Number 2. I don't even know if are there any television shows that you care about?
I watch. We are addicted to the one with John Michael Higgins.
I don't even know who that is.
The one
John-
where you fill in the words. America Says.
That's a game show.
Well, you said TV show.
No, an actual TV show. Is there an actual scripted?
We went through the entire 6 years of Parenthood, and I was vomiting by the fourth year.
What was I don't remember what
Parenthood was some goofy show on one of those.
What was the
obscure,
last scripted television show that you cared about? That you had any investment in at all?
Will and Grace.
Okay, Will and Grace.
Will and Grace.
We can operate with that. This comes from a story about Bob Odenkirk recently. The actor that plays
Who of course, created Chris Farley.
Basically, yes. Basically true. That's 100%. The actor that plays the lead in a show you love has passed away before the show's final season.
Okay.
Would you rather the show recast the character to try to bring it to a natural conclusion, or just do the show without that character being involved?
What's that have to do with anything?
Bob Odenkirk, of course, star of Better Call Saul, said, remember, he had a heart attack a couple years ago.
Okay.
And he said, I would have preferred, if I had died, for them to do the final season of Better Call Saul with someone else playing Saul.
Oh, gotcha.
So that the show, as written, could conclude, could
Gotcha.
reach its natural conclusion. Of course, we've seen other scenarios, right? They just did another Black Panther movie without the Black Panther. We have seen...
They can't do Cheers anymore without Kirstie Alley.
I don't think they were ever going to bring back Cheers at this point, but, I think there have been a few others that have left us, haven't there? Is Kirstie Alley the only one that has passed away from the Cheers cast?
I have no idea.
I have to think about that for a minute. Might be. For example, they fired Roseanne and kept doing Roseanne afterwards. They fired Jeff Ross from the Goldbergs, and they decided to keep doing the Goldbergs afterwards. There are scenarios where now he wasn't the lead.
I mean, you might as well be talking.
Yeah, you don't care is the answer.
Polish
you just
to
don't
me
care
because I don't know. I don't follow it.
If Will and or Grace,
oh, this is a good one.
Yes, passed away.
They just bring in Sandra Bullock to be Grace.
Yes, for one last season.
And still call her Grace.
Correct.
And just make you think.
Right. And maybe even poke fun at it, like the way they did with Aunt Viv on Fresh Prince, where they replaced Aunt Viv halfway through the show, and they would make jokes about it every now and then.
Well, now
be a
you're
wink,
making
wink,
some
nudge,
sense
nudge.
because nothing can replace Deborah Messing.
So you're saying no?
Yeah, you can't replace Deborah Messing.
All right. Most people are in agreement with you. Most people are saying
if she wasn't a B cup, she would be the most. She would be the most wanted woman in America.
Wow. All right. Well, this was fun. Thank you for stopping by.
I'm just saying.
God.
I mean, let's be honest.
Stop. Don't. Let's not talk about it more. Let's not keep revisiting.
Deborah Messing is scorching hot.
Simon did say
for being 50.
I thank you. I grew up in the.
How old's Annette Bening, by the way?
What are we doing? It's probably 70 at this point.
Annette Bening is something else.
And she is lovely. I don't disagree with that.
Deborah Messing's got to be 52.
Simon recast the character. I grew up in the 90s. I'm used to unexplained recasting decisions. The show must go on. Griffin, I don't know if there's a show that you care about.
I guess I'm trying to think.
South Park.
Like I'm watching Andor right now, so I'm trying to think.
Okay.
But I mean, in terms
it doesn't
of
really
Marvel
rely
stuff,
on one particular character,
right? Well, I mean, it's about Cassian Andor. So
she's 54.
But I think
Annette Bening.
No, Deborah Messing.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Deborah Messing is 54.
Yes.
I think I would rather than move on without the lead. And
That's what I think I would prefer to do, but I get his problem with it. I get his issue being, are you really bringing it to a conclusion? Like, wouldn't you just be spinning off the show and doing something else at this point?
I mean, I think it's on the writers to figure it out. I would say, like how Black Panther's done it, and I think they did.
I kind of get that. You can see that if you saw Black Panther, you can see
Jewish.
the direction.
I had no
they're
idea.
Going. Thank you. Just dynamite observations over there.
I had no
We're just
idea she
doing
was
Deborah
Jewish.
Messing radio.
She was
today
born
might be the day, by the way. It might be.
She was
that
born
we
in
look
Brooklyn.
back in 5 years, and today was the day.
Really?
Like today might
this
be
one's
it.
gone more off the rails than other stuff we've done.
Fair enough. All right. You make a good point. I just
Let's
feel like
get to Annette Bening
number
real
3.
quick.
For the next 2 games, you can have Lamar Jackson back. And
I'm good. No
stop,
thanks.
Stop. Stop.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, you want to get rid of him. You can just trade him. And honestly healthy, like legitimately healthy.
Okay.
But you still have no Ronnie Stanley, no Marcus Williams.
She's 64.
I thought she was older than that, honestly. You have no Ronnie Stanley, no Marcus Williams, or no J.K. Dobbins.
The GOAT.
Or you got to play with Tyler Huntley for the next 2 games, but you get all of those guys back.
I'll take my chances on the next 2 games. I think Huntley is on a short term, which 2 games would be. By the way, she's from Topeka originally, Annette Bening. I never knew that. And I thought it was Benning.
What is it?
It's only one N.
B-E-N-I-N-G?
It's only one N.
I would have gotten that wrong as well.
Very
important.
Right.
We're covering all of the
Who knew?
critical things on this show this
She
morning.
is from Topeka.
Get to the thing.
God, would you calm down?
I can't.
I'll take Huntley for 2 games. I think he's very serviceable.
Yeah.
And they could win these 2 with him. Hell, they almost beat Cleveland last year with him.
I don't think they can win these 2 with him without these other guys. Like I don't think they can.
But they get through these 2.
Right.
Even if they lose 8-6, but they get everybody back.
Mm-hmm.
They can still finish 11-6.
So I'll get to that because it's the best argument. Go ahead.
I think I agree. I think we have the best chance with the surrounding cast healthy, and then Tyler Huntley is serviceable. But for selfish reasons, since I'll be there Sunday, I want to see Lamar Jackson on the field. So,
so
that's
you'll
why
be
I would
where?
pick. I'll be at
He's going to Pittsburgh.
I mean, you're insane.
I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, apparently it's supposed to rain.
Remember the
now,
time
too.
we went on the Thursday night? I haven't been to a Ravens game. The only Ravens game I've been to in the last, 10 years at this point, something like that, since the Super Bowl, was with you on a Thursday night to watch Michael Vick or whoever played for the Steelers play quarterback on a Thursday night when the Ravens were 0-3 to start the season. You remember that? We went, whatever year they started 0-3.
Okay.
Just 15 maybe?
Okay.
The season was over already.
Okay.
And they played, they started Vic or somebody at quarterback on a Thursday night, and it was just an awful, atrocious football game that was singularly decided because the Steelers, remember, it went to overtime, and they wanted the ball first, which made sense because it was back when you could still, lose on. They wanted the ball first, but they had to go into the open end of the stadium, and they didn't trust their kicker to kick anything beyond 40 yards in the open end of the stadium. So they went for it on fourth down, and that's the reason why the Ravens won.
Right,
I do
remember that.
Yeah, it was a terrible. That's the football game I went to.
So you said never again after that.
Yeah,
there's no. I remember we left 2 guys there once.
Was that in Pittsburgh? I thought that was New England for some reason.
Nope. That was in Pittsburgh. And the guy called.
Well,
we were already on the interstate. The boss.
Well, yeah,
the boss
said, that's it.
Boss said we're heading home.
Good luck. You're on your own.
Those guys were not happy.
Well, no, you don't think so?
I remember we got back at 5 in the morning. You and I, we went right into the. Went right into the thing, and I said to you as we were walking into the station, I'm like, we might want to lock the doors.
Oh, no question. No. In fairness, there were other times we should have locked the doors, like the morning where there was a stranger that came out of the basement.
But we've later found out he was actually renting part of the downstairs.
Yes, and working for the radio station. And nobody bothered to tell us. There was just a shirtless man that came up and said,
"Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey, I'm John. What are you guys doing?" I'm like, I'm on the radio, actually.
You looked at me. In the middle of the mid-sentence, you said, no, you just said it out loud. You said, there's a man out in the front room. There's a man. It's 7 in the morning.
He came up in his pajamas.
We didn't know who he was.
He came up in his pajamas.
He lived there. He lived.
They had rented him the room over the weekend. Didn't tell anybody.
The radio station.
On Monday when we got there, hey, what's all this noise?
Yeah. Said, okay, these are normal circumstances for people to work in. The best argument for the other one, because I think you're better suited with Lamar Jackson always, but the best argument is that you now have those guys back for the games following those 2 games, which right now we don't.
Well, what about the third scenario where we trade Lamar?
You have anything you want to plug? You have anything at all that you want to plug?
No, but we ought to do this till 1.
No,
I'm
really?
sure Colson's thrilled.
Yeah.
John, we're giving you our best effort today, buddy.
This is the day.
Hey, John.
Today.
Is today the day? Really?
God.
John's finally going to say this is it?
This is what happened. This is what happened. Griffin wasn't able to book any guests. We had no reason to kick you out at any point. Zach didn't show up. I was looking for any reason.
John's here to deliver the news.
Very proud of what it is that we're putting on the air.
You guys got 10 minutes?
Yeah.
It's been a while since you heard that, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
You guys got 10 minutes?
It's been a minute.
I know you've been with me for 15 years, but you got 10 minutes.
Oh, God. All right, what do you want to plug?
I don't know.
What?
You
want to stay through the final break?
No.
You want to stick around for one more? We still got to do Tidbit and Tubular to wrap up the show. You want to stick around?
Caps and Flowers tonight.
What? You want to plug that?
No, I'm doing.
What are you plugging?
I'm doing the Tubular thing. Caps and Flowers tonight.
Nobody cares about that.
Caps on the last game of a 6-game road trip.
What are you doing? An update on 106.7 The Fan in D.C.
Caps and Flowers tonight in Philly.
By one of my favorite. Never mind. I'm not going to make fun of it. I work for that radio station now. I'm not going to do that. Never mind.
It's been fun.
Has it? For who? For who?
It's just been fun. This is going in the archive.
I had a question for you.
It's going in the archives.
How do you think that went?
How do you
think
that was one of those days when Paul came in and said, "You guys got a minute? Yeah, come on back real quick. Come on back in the office. Yes. Can we get a coffee? Sure. Yeah. Get a coffee.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I was listening today from 7 to 10.
I gotta
ask you a question. How do you think that went today? Oh, you mean when we had the fake trial for Peter Angelos? You mean when we put Peter Angelos on trial? I thought it went pretty well. Steve Davis liked it. He sent me a text on his way home from work. Said it's the greatest radio he's ever heard.
Enjoyed it.
How do you think that went? A trial for
You know
Peter.
what I don't like is I yelled on Sunday, and it's like the only time anybody ever sends me texts about the shows that we're doing. Nobody else ever.
Right.
The only time
that was a great show
I
today.
ever get texts is
You're doing a great job.
like, dude, that was great, man. I love that. Like this, God. All right, Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com.
We
Come
need
out,
to hold you accountable.
Yeah, maybe. Come out on the 19th. This show probably should be held accountable. Probably. Come out on the 19th. Glory Days Grill in
Please do.
Towson. We'll be there 6 to 8 p.m. Drew doesn't care any longer. I need you to pick up the slack for him, please. Today's show brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Whether your focus is luxury or comfort, convenience, technologically advanced connectivity, sport or performance, or aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today. We'll come back in. Tidbit 2 to wrap it up. Glenn Clark Radio.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
What's up, everyone? This is Tyus Bowser, and I'm excited to tell you that I'm back for Season 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show in partnership with Pressbox and Great H Memorabilia. Join us on Tuesday nights throughout the season as I'll be heading all over town with my special guests. And of course, our co-hosts, Glenn and Rita. Or is it Rita and Glenn? What is it? I look forward to meeting you guys and talking a little bit about football and a lot about life. And if you happen to miss the show, you can now catch a replay Friday nights on 105.7 The Fan. Get all of your details for the Tyus Bowser Show right now at PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, December 13th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill, 5506 Harford Road. It's brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists and the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
The weather outside is really unpleasant, so it's time to warm up with some comfort classics this winter at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Try the Twisted Ribs and Wings combo. It's 2 full pounds of meat, the mac and cheese bites, Mr. Richards meatloaf, the citrus salmon, the winter spinach salad, and for dessert, here's internet radio personality Griffin Bass to tell you about the bourbon butter cake.
Oh, my God, it's so good.
Pair it with a blood orange bourbon cider or a devil's backbone cranberry smash. Place your order now at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
Check out Jeremy Kahn's daily picks at PressBoxOnline.com as he tries to find you daily winners. And speaking of winners, here's a man who once won a media curling contest, and I don't think anything else. He's Glenn Clark.
All right. This has been a day. This has been one for the books. Continue to get me your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Everybody who responds is registered to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. So, again, get your responses in throughout the day at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Today's show has also been brought to you by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Perfect ceramic tailgate or home grill for baking, searing, grilling, smoking, all kinds of food. Save $100 when you use the code TAILGATE at ginsugrills.com. And, of course, stop by any Ravens home game. Going to be another couple of weeks. Beforehand, stop by the Game Day Firehouse, 1202 Ridgely Street, just west of the stadium. Sample the cooking from the Ginsu Kamado Grill. Register to win your own, as well as $500 worth of grilling meats. Tidbit is brought to you today by the print issue of PressBox, which is still available. But we are coming down to the final week or two that this one will be available with Kevin Willard on the cover. And then it'll make way for our annual Best of issue featuring our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year. I can't wait to find out who that is. I'd like to know. I think I know. Pretty sure I know.
Is it going to be Glenn Clark?
I think I came up just short this year. I think I was definitely firm after today's show. After today's show, there was reconsideration for Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year. But go get that right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms and the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox, or read it all, PressBoxOnline.com.
Interestingly enough, on December 5th, 2021, there were 12 unbeaten teams in college basketball. December 5th, 2022, also 12 unbeaten teams in college basketball.
It's
one team.
It means that Maryland never had a chance. Really what it is that, like, somebody had to sacrifice somebody, like, and that was the way it was going to have to go. So the game was predetermined. It was fixed. And it doesn't count, I think, because of that.
One team was on both lists, Purdue. Purdue undefeated
helps
through
to have
December 5th.
Helps to have a giant.
Yeah,
helps to have just the biggest
does.
monster you've ever seen standing in the middle of the floor.
Of course, Maryland and Texas both went down yesterday.
Yeah, oddly.
And FanDuel boosted it for them to win, for both of those teams to win.
Oh,
and
boy.
So, of course.
Oh, boy.
Neither of them did. Devontae Adams also.
Starting to wonder if maybe they're in on it. Got a lot of questions.
Had a big game that we already talked about on Sunday. He now has the 5th most receiving touchdowns in a player's first 9 seasons in NFL history. He has 85 and counting, obviously. Can you name the 4 players? The 4 players ahead of him, as well as, let's see. Let's round out the top.
So tell me one more time. It's
top 6, I guess. Most receiving touchdowns in their first
4
9 seasons. Devontae Adams has 85.
There are 4 players ahead of him.
Yes, and then the guy he passed.
Most receiving touchdowns in the first 9 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, Hall of Famer, 118, number 1.
Kind of doing the bit where we're naming the good receivers.
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Number 2, 101 for Randy Moss.
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens is number 4, 95.
Julio Jones.
Not Julio Jones.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Not Larry Fitzgerald. 77 for Larry Fitzgerald, a bit further down.
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison, number 3 with 98.
Isaac Bruce.
Not Isaac Bruce.
Torrey Holt.
Not Torrey Holt.
Hang on a second. Oh, Proctor wanted to get some guesses in. I'm sorry, Proctor. You're apparently a little bit behind us. How about... Oh, he wants Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown is just outside. He had 74.
Chris Carter.
74. Not Chris Carter.
How about Michael Irvin?
Michael Irvin not on here.
Okay. It's not that surprising, honestly. Torrey Holt?
No, you said Torrey Holt.
I did?
I think. Yeah,
Reggie
he
Wayne.
has 71, Torrey Holt. Not Reggie Wayne.
Proctor wants Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson is number 6. That is who
I didn't know if it
Adams
mattered.
passed.
He didn't make it the 9 years. I didn't know if that was relevant to the list.
He had 83, so Devontae Adams passed him as of Sunday. So that was the top 6. Lance Allworth, Art Powell, Don Hudson also on there. And then rounding out the top 10, Rob Gronkowski was 79.
How about that? I heard he was good.
Yeah.
I heard good things. All right. Very good. Tidbit. Also brought to you today by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Stan, Ross, and Luke did their, and then they're going to do another show tomorrow, Stan and Gary, that's going to be a little bit more about Kevin Willard and Maryland basketball and focusing on the impact that he's made recruiting with Tom Strickler, a big-time recruiting analyst, so you want to check that out. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, PressBoxOnline.com/video, or YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. Tubular is brought to you today by the Baltimore County Police Department, and they've got a huge event coming up this Saturday at the Maryland State Fairgrounds from 2 to 6 p.m. It is a community hiring event and toy and food drive. Big opportunity for you. If you know somebody who's looking for some direction, maybe just wander over to the exhibition hall at the fairgrounds on Saturday between 2 and 6. But also for everybody to try to step up and help out the community, support the folks that need it. Some great offers if you're thinking about a new career with the Baltimore County Police Department. Police officer starting salary, $60,686. Cadet starting salary is $32,000 for someone who's maybe fresh out of high school, not really sure what they want to do. might be good to point them towards this hiring event on Saturday. And also, just need you to bring out non-perishable food items or new and unwrapped toys. You can also stop by all the various Baltimore County Police precincts to drop those off this week and even into next week. But Saturday, big-time community hiring event. You can find out more by going to joinbaltimorecountypd.com. Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise tonight. A lot of college hoops, including, as Drew mentioned, I can't believe Drew knew something about sports, Towson Clemson, 9 o'clock on Madison. You can watch them on TV tonight. And you can watch Navy hoops against West Virginia at 7 o'clock on ESPNU. So 2 local teams on TV back-to-back tonight. Also on Flow Hoops, Loyola's at Hampton at 7 o'clock. Morgan State hosts Penn State Wilkes-Barre at 6. Big Ten, the hoops tonight, Michigan State, Penn State, 6:30, Nebraska, Indiana at 8:30 on Big Ten Network. UConn, Florida is a pretty good one, 9 o'clock on ESPN2. The rest of the college basketball, find at glennclarkradio.com. NBC Sports Washington Plus, Wizards, Bulls at 8. ESPN, Hawks, Knicks, 7:30, Celtics, Suns at 10. NBC Sports Washington, Caps, Flyers at 7. TNT has Sabres, Blue Jackets at 7:30. Rangers, Golden Knights at 10. TBS for AEW Dynamite at 8. Non-sports highlights?
Just a couple. It's new episode of Survivor. Mariah Carey will be on Stephen Colbert. And I know you're upset, but it is the season 8 finale of The Masked Singer on Fox. Jesse Eisenberg's going to be on Seth Meyers. Michelle Pfeiffer will be on Fallon.
What's Jesse Eisenberg doing these days?
I think it's for that new show that just came out on Hulu. Fleischman is in Trouble.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. Okay.
Yeah, it looks okay. I'm not sure.
I watched a few episodes of Reboot recently.
Oh, you did?
Because I had heard some good things. I don't know why it wasn't.
Does it work?
It's all right.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's not, like, brilliant. It's not, groundbreaking or anything like that, but it's fun. It's an enjoyable program.
All right, good. Will Ferrell and Machine Gun Kelly on Jimmy Kimmel.
Package deal, yes.
Yeah. And then a new season of Too Hot to Handle on Netflix, another one of those like dating show things.
No chance. No chance.
It's not your thing. Hard Knocks for
they
the
actually,
Cardinals.
One of the jokes on Reboot is that they cast one of the girls straight off one of those shows, and they said, "What was that called again?" And she said, "F Buddy Island." That was one of the running jokes, was that everybody loved the show F Buddy Island.
There is a real show called F Boy Island.
Sure there is.
Yeah.
Sure there is.
And then the greatest holiday commercials countdown of 2022 is on the CW at 9.
Okay.
And then those are the new episode of Willow on Disney+.
All right. Very good. Very good. Hey, don't forget, PressBoxOnline.com/offers for all of the best sign-up offers, like $200 in free bets from DraftKings after placing your first $5 bet, or $1,000 in risk-free bets from BetMGM. PressBoxOnline.com/offers in order to sign up today. Thanks today to Drew and Walt Williams. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
archives.
Tam at GlennclarkRadio.com. Dare I ask?
We got Mike Tannenbaum tomorrow.
Okay. Former NFL GM, ESPN analyst.
We'll do picks and then stuff.
Okay.
And things. All reliable.
Boy, we are getting desperate, huh? This might, I joke, it might be the end. This might just be, just might be the end.
Do you want to tease Friday's show? Or
why?
Because I do have stuff lined up for that.
Good stuff?
Yeah.
Like what?
Trent Dilfer, new coach of UAB.
I do like Trent Dilfer.
We're trying to figure out. We should have Diamond Miller of the Lady Terps.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then, there's somebody. Oh, Charlie Batch, of course, as well.
Okay. Anyway. See you tomorrow, where we have. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to pull myself together. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great partners and sponsors, including the Baltimore County Police Department, Problem Gambling, Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, Maryland Jockey Club, Grade 8 Memorabilia, the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland, Baltimore area Chick-fil-A restaurants, Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill, UMBC Athletics, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin, at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Towson, go Navy, go Morgan, go Loyola. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too.